this Sunday. Good morning, as Nidal says, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. We have a few people from Gaza today. It's really great, and I'm sure we will get more of our colleagues to join us. We come to you after a week long of intense action. I must have seen some of our footage on Instagram and other social media. We've had a very successful and powerful day on the Hill in Washington, D.C. last Wednesday, where we convened hundreds of doctors, healthcare workers, and a coalition of different organizations who joined us in a day of advocacy on the Hill. We've had a press conference that represented a cross-section of organizations, and you can totally see the power of forming coalitions. One of our speakers, the president of, missing the correct name of the union, I think National
United.
She mentioned that nothing scares the powers more than nurses and doctors joining forces. And I want to add to this that it's also all healthcare workers, all health advocates joining forces. And inshallah, with this work and with everybody's support, we will continue to do this. And then we moved this momentum to Canada, where we've done a similar, but not exactly the same kind of action for the Palestinian Prisoners Day or Hostages Day. We've had a press conference on Parliament Hill. I see Yiping is with us on the panel. Yiping, myself, representatives from GLIA and Health Alliance for Palestine, and Dr. Mustafa Barghouthi joined us he was actually in Barcelona, where we spoke about this illegal law to execute the Palestinians, and we talked about the national struggle for liberation for Palestinians that's represented in the prisoners' struggle for liberation. We were also participated in a visual and a march in the capital of Canada, the complicit capital of Canada. And Ribhi and Dania and other members of our New York Dagsters, they participated in a similar action in New York City. You must have seen Ribhi's speech as well in New York City. So busy week, but we all know that the work continues. This is just the beginning of building momentum. We must continue this work, and we must grow this movement to make our voices the loudest, the voices for humanity and ending genocide louder than those that want this to continue. Fueled by love, fueled by humanity. So with that, Nidal, Karama, or anyone else want to share few things?
I don't know if Karama is here or not.
She's here.
Yeah, I have some things I could share about the New York action.
Yes.
So yeah, there was I think what's really important about the New York action is that there was one second, sorry. There was there was a there was promotion of a further action run by Al Auda that I wanted to promote, because let me just pull up the details. But basically, it's a targeted action towards a company. They make circuits specifically for targeting AI targeting. And the very technical circuit in Al Auda organization, their New York organization, they discovered that this did research. They found out that all of the products for this for these circuits get tested at a facility in New York, and they're doing a targeted protest on Monday at 4 p.m. to kind of just show to scream out against it, hopefully put pressure to stop it, and let people know in the community that there are bombs being made just a couple miles away. It's not something that's super far away from home. We build it at home and we export it from America to Palestine, and they land in Gaza on hospitals. So just it was very important to remember that even when we commemorate, it's not commemoration does not end when the event ends. It's important to do it in your daily action, push forward for to stop these crimes happening when you can, as much as you can, because that's what the people like who are jailed in dungeons deserve. We need to give them all we have.
Absolutely. Iman and Dania, do you want to share some highlights from the event? I mean, you put an enormous amount of work. The two of you, I don't know like how you do it, but you work relentlessly and tirelessly to book the meetings and in a very strategic way, share the insights. I know Iman shares, is it weekly updates that you share, Iman, about like the different congressional updates that can help inform our advocacy efforts? So like, first of all, a huge thank you. I know last week was an immense amount of work that took from both of you, from you know, other volunteers to make this event possible. But maybe you can share your reflections and feedback from how you felt they went, and you know, what other insights that you want to share.
I don't know. Mashallah, it was really I think emotional for me as I walked into Union Station to see all the white coats. It was definitely a significant larger number than what we normally have. You know, we'll usually have about 20 to 30 people participate. I think we had about 300. We had 600 people who RSVP'd. I think we had at least 300, and it was just an amazing sight to see. And so we're hoping that this is a sign that there will be more folks. So please come out and join us. We had over 50 meetings with Congress just in the afternoon from 1 to 5. I think that's also been the most that we've had, and especially in that concentrated period of time. We had an amazing press conference earlier in the day. And just watching some of the stuff on social media, watching this large group of folks in white coats walking towards the Capitol. And even when we went to offices and stopped by, they were aware because, you know, we did some stop bys where we didn't have meetings, but these were offices that we would go to often. And they're like, yeah, we heard, we heard your group is here. So, you know, I think as we've said before, we have a responsibility as healthcare workers. And I think people stop and look and see when they see, like, why are all these doctors or healthcare workers, you know, taking time out of their patient care to be in DC? You know, we're not politicians, we're not any of those things. So I'm hoping, inshallah, that this will just be the beginning of us getting closer to that 1,000 or more healthcare workers. So I don't know. Dania?
Yeah, no, it was a great day of action. We had close to 60 meetings with the offices that we did not have scheduled meetings with. Everybody did, the groups did drop-ins where they handed the elected officials a prescription on how to end genocide. Our presence was truly felt on Capitol Hill. A lot of people were thanking us for us being there. I saw a lot of connections being made within a lot of like the new members that joined us, and trying to connect with other members from their states. And this is what we really want to advocate and push for, is we shouldn't wait the 28 days until we all reunite in DC. A lot of the work should build like once people return to their communities. But what a beautiful, like Iman said, when I got to Union Station, I was really overwhelmed by the sight of, you know, just all the white coats and everybody coming together, and everybody just being super just energized and just driven by, you know, this thirst for justice for, you know, all the oppressed around the world. So it was a beautiful day. Yeah, I look forward to the next one. Thank you to everyone who joined us.
I mean, it was amazing to see so many new faces. And it's really encouraging. People flew from all over the country. Even Dr. Ahmed Farra signed up, actually. I kept getting his name in this. You're like, oh,
أول واحد هو.
Inshallah, he will join us in person very soon. We will take all the signs that we can get. But it was a remarkable day. It was also really, really hot. It was like 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and Nidal kept the press conference going, you know, people in the sun, and I think it was incredible. Phil says we had 3 mother-daughter teams. Yeah, and we had 3 people with injuries, and actually, like, one of them was hurt by ice, and then 2 like had injuries to their legs, and they were all with us. Different groups, different you know, background, but it was really beautiful to see everybody there united to advocate for the same thing. And I have to give a shout out to the students. The students were incredible. I don't know if any of our students are on the call today, but they did amazing. There was, what, 30 of them, maybe 20 to 30 students, medical students, and they all showed up. They were absolutely incredible. So amazing, amazing, amazing.
Phil, do you have any feedback? Maybe we can have Phil have his feedback too.
I can't say any more than what's been said. For me, there's some moments that stick out, but I think the biggest one, or the biggest 3, one was when we were all gathered in the Great Hall at Union Station for that picture. And then we began chanting, and then that security person came over and told Nidal, no, you can't do that here. And then as she walked away, he started chanting again. Just to, do you remember that, Nidal?
That's my style, yeah. Do not challenge me.
But especially
دير بالك على حركة أبو عمار.
كيف؟
دير بالك على حركة أبو عمار.
لا تمام، احنا تمام ولا يهمك. حاسبينها.
حبيبنا الله يعطيك العافية.
And the biggest moment that I'll always have in mind is so I, with my little umbrella, I took the lead so that people could see where we were going, and we got across the street after Columbus, I guess that's Columbus Circle, and I looked back and I saw this long line stretching across the street and then around that construction barricade and still coming out of Union Station. And it was just a absolutely fantastic moment, just to see that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Did anybody get the same kind of impression I got? Like, at least twice as I was walking into or outside of the buildings, the security guards would say to me, "Thank you for doing this work."
Yeah.
This is the security guards. So like these are official government employees that feel like everybody's feeling sick from genocide, right? Like everybody wants this to end. Everybody feels that their government, their tax dollars are being used in a non-ethical way, in a non-humane way. And they really are, I think America is hungry for more advocacy. And I think if anything, we need to do more of this, and we need to bring more people into this conversation, build more momentum, and then push this movement until we finally like get across the finish line. And we've seen with the JRD vote, Sanders vote, it got a historic 40 votes, yes. And although it didn't pass, it's still a milestone. And I think more of this work is going to eventually push it across the finish line, inshallah. And yeah, I think America is ready for a change.
Just to add to that, I saw at least 3 headlines that could loosely be translated. Has Israel lost the Democrats? And it specifically referred to the fact that 40 Democratic senators voted yes. And that's a huge step. That's a huge step.
Mm-hmm.
And if I may add, a lot of the Democratic senators that voted for this bill, they have been offices that we've met with repeatedly. So I want our organization to feel that we we took part in those conversations. We took part in this advocacy. And a lot of names on there. I mean, let me tell you, I was shocked to see even offices we've met with where we've walked out and we've been so angry and furious because we felt like we were not heard or listened to. Those names were on those lists. So I want everybody to feel very proud and motivated to continue doing the work.
100%. And just to add to what you said, Dania, like the one meeting I attended, because I was not really attending meetings, mostly I was doing other things, but the one meeting I attended, the staffer was so ready for us. Like they know you guys, right? Like they know the usual faces, they recognize the first names, they're ready, they have their notes, they're ready for us instead of the other way around. And that's a really good sign that they're anticipating, they're preparing, and they come with full like attention. They want to educate, but also they want us to educate them as well on what else we can push for. And I could feel the difference between like the first meeting I went to now, how the conversation has evolved to like more of a collaboration. Like, who do we talk to, right, to get this across? How can we help you do a better job with your boss who's complicit? So it's a very different dynamic than when we first started, and I really have to thank everyone, but like especially Dania and Iman for the work you've been doing consistently every month to get us organized and to share those insights and on the strategic like ideas that can help us get there. So it doesn't happen overnight. So thank you.
I want to also share what Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, because she joined us for the press conference and she herself pointed out that our presence there, when the people move, when the people come, they do help people like her who are pushing for, more conscious policies against wars, genocides, war crimes, against using our tax money for, starting more wars. So our presence is important for our allies there because they feel supported. And I really think our presence there did help achieve more votes for the GRD4 standards that day, for the officers who were on the sidelines, having to see more of us, and at least 2 or 3 of them who were against it. Maybe the last few times they did change their vote. And as you saw, I mean, first of all, movement building does not happen overnight. This is a result of persistent work that we all have been doing for over 2 years, and our numbers, alhamdulillah, have been getting more and more. And the coalition we are building, we have doctors, we have nurses, we have United Workers, we have people against the sanctions on Cuba, we have people talking about the genocide in Sudan, we have people talking about against ICE infringement on our rights here, we have people talking about cuts to Medicaid. All these issues are interconnected, and putting it out there for people to register. As one of the speakers said, if you are against ICE attacks here, you should be against Israeli policies there, because it's the same machinery, the same, the same weapons, the same training. So, I mean, we're getting there. As Mesa mentioned, we're all sick of genocide. We're all sick of, our politicians listening to the lobbyists, to the special interests, to the defense contractors, rather than listening to their constituents. I think the American people, as Phil mentioned, whether Democrats or Republicans, are waking up to this. We want our money, our taxes, our hard-earned money to be used for our communities here, to fund Medicare, fund Medicaid. As one of our colleagues, the doctor from Jab, Aman Hussein, said, he's having a hard time getting his cancer patients getting coverage for their medications. Can you imagine this? You cannot get a coverage for, life-saving medicine for your cancer patients, while they're throwing billions and billions and even trillions now. They want to increase another $500 billion for defense contractor for bombs. You get signatures right away. For him to be able to get a life-saving medicine for his patient, he had to be rejected many times and he had to apply many times. So, I mean, people are fed up with this, and that's why we need to leverage this. This is the time to build these coalitions, to make these connections, and to have more and more people mobilized. As Dania and Iman said, with their hard work, we have few hundred people. We have like 10 times the turnout that we usually get. And don't forget that this is the election, this midterm election year, and I expect more and more people to show up. We need to tell people that these issues are important for them, and inshallah, every month we come. I think hopefully maybe next time is gonna be what, May 14, we said. Then
I shared the form, Nidal, for people
yeah,
to
so
yes.
yeah, so we're coming again in May, then in June, and every month.
It's
But
gonna be
again,
Thursday this time.
thanks to all of you for your work, and for those who could not make it, please join next time. Please spread the word. If politicians do not feel pressure, they will not change their policies. This is important. Politicians care about their seats, about their positions. And when they feel safe, when they feel people are quiet or silent, they will continue taking the money from APAC and doing what APAC says. But when you show them that no, your people, your constituents, especially when it's healthcare, healthcare workers are coming, this usually raises the alarm. And the bigger our numbers, the stronger is going to be the message. So, I mean, you really made history this time, having few hundred healthcare workers coming for a joint, call for, accountability. And we have to keep building on this and
Yeah.
make it more and more impactful. Thank you.
I have to add one thing before I forget, actually. Our team leaders are like amazing, and some of them newly minted team leaders. That's the first time leading a team. They did amazing, amazing, amazing work. So if any of you are on the panel or listening, thank you so much. I know we threw so much at you. Changes up to last minute, up to last second. Sometimes some people showed up that were not scheduled. I threw them in somebody's team, and they were just so amazing. So thank you so much for being flexible, supportive, positive, and just so full of like humanity. So I mean, honestly, it was an event to be emotional about, like in the right way. Like it's just that all these people came together like for one reason, like to advocate for humanity. And it was just an incredible way to kind of be together in solidarity. So can we talk
how
about
many teams,
Gaza now?
how many teams, Maisa, how many teams did we have?
Like 25, 26. I can't keep like
About 30 teams. Do we know how we did this, guys? This is how you build movements. So people who have been coming with us many times before, who know the process, and the regular ones, maybe 30 or 40 of them, they became the leaders. And for those who came and now know the process, so next time when we call for 10,000 people, now we have enough team leaders to have maybe 100 teams next time. Because when you come, this is how we build the movement. When you come, when you know the process, then you become the next leader. And this is how we expand, the movement and make sure, again, one last thing. Everyone who came have a good experience. It was safe, it was organized, it was professional, it was respectful. No one got hurt. There is no one should fear coming to DC. This is really our duty, our civil duty as human beings, and also our professional duty as healthcare workers. We are not kids. We are not there to shout. We are not there to cause drama. This is something that can be done in a very professional and impactful and organized way. And the fact that we stayed organized and professional did not give not give them the opportunity to dismiss us. Oh, look at those loud people. Look at those pro-Palestine people. Look at those pro-Ham. No, we are not here for that. We know our rights, we know our duties, and we insist on making our politicians listen to them in the most professional way possible, without giving anyone an excuse to dismiss us as just a group of, loud people. So thank you. Go ahead, Mason.
Just the one thing is like, obviously Advocacy Day is a big day, right? Like it's once a month. We come together, it's also great for us to meet each other and to be honest, like feel a little bit less demoralized after being sick from genocide. So it's really great. But I think one key thing that we probably don't push as hard, just from DAG leadership is those like district meetings that you can all organize, you can all have, right? We have all those insights, we have all the information. and you have the leadership, right? You have the skills. So if you've been to a day on the Hill, then you can actually do the same in your congressional offices, like in your district offices. Sorry. So you don't have to wait until you come to DC. Some of us can't always travel, so that's totally understandable. So please continue the advocacy. The advocacy should happen every day, right? Like not just once a month. And right now, I feel like with the momentum building, we just have to keep pushing. We just have to keep pushing like an 10x the amount of effort that we've done until we get the outcomes that we deserve, right? And we want.
Just to mention for those who are asking for the coming dates, for now, a preliminary number is going to be May 14th, June 11th, and July 16th. So these are 3 months that we can give you now. We usually pick the dates. We usually used to do Wednesday, but according to the feedback that Iman and Daniel gave us, that Congress is usually busy. They have a lot of meetings and a lot of hearings on that day. So we had to choose either Tuesday or Thursday. It seems Thursday is more suitable for us. We were going to try it for 3 months. So it's going to be May 14th, June 11th, and July 16th. And also the reason we choose these dates is these are the dates where both Congress and Senate are in session. So when we go there, we have more options to meet everyone. Some dates of the week, they might not be in session, or one house in session, the other one is not in session. So we try to choose dates that both of them are in session, gives us more opportunity to make more appointments and more visits.
Great. There was a question about an upcoming event in New York for Monday. Dania or Ribhi, can you answer that question if you have any information?
Yeah, it's Ribhi, are you there? I know it's
Yeah,
Monday at 4 p.m.
at 4. I'm looking for the flyer. I have it lying around. 1 second.
Okay. All right. Fantastic.
I'll respond in the Q. It's in the Q&A.
Yeah, it's in the Q&A. Okay. I think it's probably a good time to switch to Canada. We have Yiping here to give us his reflections on, first of all, Yiping has been not just in Canada, but also in other parts of the world doing more important, other important work. So maybe just give us an overview of the last couple of weeks, Yiping, when we haven't seen you in a while. So I've seen you, but the rest
Yeah, I mean, I saw Mesa in Barcelona in Spain. We were at a Tech for Palestine conference, and at the same time, the flotilla movement was sending around 36, 38 boats from the ports of Barcelona to Italy that will meet quite a few other boats to, I think, make up around 80 boats that will be sailing from southern Italy towards Gaza at the end of this month, which will be the largest maritime direct action in history to challenge Israel's illegal siege and blockade on the Gaza Strip, since 2007. And I think it's just inspiring to see people from all walks of life, from different parts of the world, different corners of the world, mobilize and to contribute their skills, the things that they're good at, and to do it in the name of humanity, in the name of love and compassion, for equal human rights for every person in this world, especially and including Palestinians. And we're seeing this in all sectors, right? We're seeing it in healthcare, we're seeing it in tech, and we're seeing it in folks that do really important maritime direct action work in protecting the sea, and they're lending their efforts to the flotilla movement. And so, and I think one of the important things I want to convey, especially in a meeting like this, is mainstream media, Western media, does not cover these kinds of massive people mobilizations, or even the strikes that happen in Europe, like in Spain and Italy. massive, like people labor-led strikes in support of Palestine, in support of ending like arms shipments to Israel from these countries, because it's not in their interests to do that. And so we have to continue spreading the message about these efforts that I think spark the hope and the joy and to fuel our movement. And just just a few days ago, Mesa was also here in Ottawa with me as we held a press conference on Parliament Hill and a community demonstration in the afternoon. And I think about her words around maintaining our hope and our joy and co-creating that world where we're free from colonial occupation, we're free from genocide, and it's in the interest of the oppressors for us to be apathetic, to lose hope. And I think it's okay to sometimes take a step back and rest because this is intergenerational work, this is lifelong work. But we must not give up hope. We must not give up joy, and we have to create these things for each other so that we continue to contribute to a lifelong intergenerational struggle for liberation for all peoples who are oppressed.
Thank you, Yiping. Yeah. I still feel the same kind of, like, the press conference was kind of, I think it was good just from kind of like the messages that were shared. But just for me, like, I'm kind of sick and tired of being on Parliament Hill. Just being in that space that is so, I don't even know the word, like, it's not even oppressive, it doesn't even do it justice because we can still speak, but it's just so dismissive, right? It's so dismissive to everything that is being said. I think Leah joined us, like one of the NDP MPs joined us to show solidarity, but it was almost like screaming into a vacuum of a space that doesn't want to listen to you or see you. In Canada, you don't just walk into offices like we do in the US, actually. You actually have to go through security. You have to submit your name days in advance. They make it really hard for you to access these elected officials that get paid by our tax dollars and do nothing, right? To respond to their constituents. So we just have to figure out a different strategy in Canada. Like, what does advocacy look like in Canada? Because right now we have a Liberal Party that is absolutely, it's a majority party, and it has the same kind of policies, almost like a Trump party, right? Like, where, they voted down the no loophole law for weapons. So weapons are still continuing to flow into the US and into to Gaza and Lebanon and Iran. We just have a very, like, apathy in the US exists, but in Canada it's probably tenfold. It's just a weird environment. It just kind of sucks the soul out of you, right? Like, even just being in the space, you feel like, I don't know, weird. This is just my own reflection.
I thought you are more cool than us.
Oh, no, I was just very disgusted.
I was feeling jealous from Canada.
That, like, composure is just me being disgusted with this whole, like, it was just like, why am I even here? But we have to keep doing this. I mean, it's uncomfortable and it's painful, and I feel it viscerally, like, affects me, like, just being in those spaces. But what else can we do, right? We have to use our voices. We have to keep talking. We have to keep influencing. But I do think we have to think about Canada in a different way when it comes to advocacy, and we just have to find the right formula for it to build the momentum. But a lot of Canadians were inspired by the 1,000 White Coat event in DC, and we need to think about a way to do something to mobilize healthcare in Canada in a different way than we've done in the past. Yeah.
We have Dr. Mofuking here with us. I don't know if she's available or not. If she has any reflections, Dr. Mofuking, she can tell us how the situation in South Africa is. Dr. Mofuking, are you there?
Hi.
Oh, you're at the UN, not in South Africa.
Yes, no, I
We need to move the UN to South Africa anyway. Hi, how are
right.
you?
Gosh, let's move the Security Council to South Africa.
No, the Security Council will have to cancel it altogether. No one
Well,
should have the power of the veto. It should be just
um,
UN, South Africa,
yeah,
and majority vote.
true. Hi,
Hopefully,
everyone.
how
Yeah,
are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I mean, for the sake of our conversation, I think it was just really great to watch online and to follow the advocacy in Washington this past week. So that was really, really important to just also witness, how this movement has also grown. And it's so true about the impact. Sometimes we really feel very low and doubt that if at all things can move, and then suddenly things shift, right? And you see the actual impact of the work through different votes, seeing different names appear on lists that you were not expecting. And I think that is a testimony of advocacy. It is a long game, and it's very surprising always. Actually, it's more often surprising at what message gets to stick and what gets to move people. And it's about consistency. And that's why it's exhausting, I guess, as well, because you never know when that needle will shift. And we almost feel like, if I stop now, what if that was the one meeting that would have moved things or changed things? And I think that's why our connection and creating this platform remains so important, especially for many of us who do work in these hostile environments and institutions, to still have spaces like this where we can still learn and continue to grow as people, and continue to connect as comrades. On a different update, of course, the countdown to, appointing the new special rapporteur has started on the right to health, and that announcement will happen in June, or at least at the end of the Human Rights Council. So at the end of the June or that first week of July. And so that remains also another exciting moment where we will then see who I get to hand over to. And for me, it's important, one, of course, has lots of things that has happened in this mandate, but what this genocide has meant for the right to health, and how it will continue to shape the future of the right to health, and what we understand about the potential of the right to health as a human right in the preventative space. And I think there's a lot of work for all of us that lies ahead as we respond to the genocide, but how do we also prevent future atrocities? And in which ways can we use the right to health as such a broad human right that incorporates so many other human rights within the right to health? So I've been thinking a lot about that, about what lies ahead for me after this. So it's very exciting that I will fully have my sneakers back on as a comrade, as an activist who remains untamed. I came through the UN system still as an independent person, not liking it very much. I loathe it even more now, having worked within it for these last 6 years, and ever determined to make sure that these kinds of institutions know that they are ours as well, that they too owe us our own humanity, and that they should be working for us as well. And I'm hoping that the work, that we've all collectively been pouring our hearts and our minds into can really turn into something else after I am done with this mandate. And so I'm still sitting in that space of unknowing, but really committed to seeing how we can support. On Friday was the day to mark the Day of the Palestinian Prisoners. And I had spent the day before with PhD students of law from Palestine, West Bank, some from the old city as well. Many are former ministers in various departments. Others are, legal scholars who are purists. Others are coming from different spaces, but ultimately all of them came to Johannesburg to find strength, as we all often do. We go to the places of people who've walked some of these paths that we are embarking on ourselves. And so they had come to South Africa to connect with many of us. And it dawned on me how much more we need to use the law and the regional law and the regional legal institutions and the domestic courts to still find justice. there are many different ways to explore what justice looks like eventually. And we know that it ultimately has to stop the bombs in the immediate term. And we need to start prosecuting people in these domestic arenas to show people that international law matters and that it can actually have domestic repercussions. So I think that's one way that I can be useful in terms of what I have been bearing witness to, what I have been reporting on, is to then use the skill that I have of talking too much to try and support colleagues around the world as they seek to get justice. And I remain open in any way that I can, and I remain in solidarity and in absolute respect with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It's always great to see you.
Thank you, Dr. Mufking. That's very important. We learn from you, we're inspired by you, and we continue to work together to uplift all and each one of us. And as you said, sometimes it feels depressing or not very encouraging when you're alone, but when you work with a group, we build a movement and you keep talking to each other. This is how we heal from the genocide. Because as we said, sickness from genocide, the best treatment for it is to continue to fight, do everything you can to end the genocide. And actually, since you are here, the one doctor who achieved the most out of this week is Dr. Al-Siddiq Al-Mahdi. Dr. Al-Siddiq Al-Mahdi is from Sudan. He actually achieved a resolution introduced in the Congress. And as a reminder, the day of action, April 15th, was unfortunately the third anniversary of the genocide in the Sudan. And many Sudanese groups, including the SAPA, the Sudanese American Physician Association, they had a week long action in DC, and including having Congresswoman J. Bell talk and speak at their conference, and she actually introduced that new bill against the genocide in Sudan. Dr. Al-Siddiq, are you there? You want to give us your reflections on the week, please?
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone.
Important work. Congratulations. You still
Thanks
have
for
more
having
work to
me.
do. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Just to be clear, I had nothing to do with that resolution. That was nothing I had to do with. But I'm glad that it was introduced. Alhamdulillah. That was something that was shared because Congresswoman Jay Powell had spoken at our event that was going on the same time, the press conference, and she had reflected that she had introduced that bill the same day. I wish I had known that before Wednesday that she was going to do that, and that way we could have included that in some of the discussions, but no worries. If anyone hasn't sent out their follow-up emails yet, I would appreciate it if they could include that resolution in the Sudan section. And basically it's calling for holding the warring parties accountable and limiting any support from outside influences. And we all know by this time that that includes the UAE and other countries. So that's what that seeks to achieve. As far as reflections, I was really excited about the event. It was a great event. Unfortunately, I did feel like I was less effective than previously when we'd go to advocate, because I only had one discussion with with one of the offices because I was at the SAPA event that was going on at the same time. But I was really happy to see so many people come out. I did have a lot of people express interest. I was posting about the event as well on social media and like in WhatsApp, and a lot of people were asking about it. So I'm really glad that we were able to have that kind of impact, and I'm looking forward to many, many more, inshallah. So thank you, everybody. Thanks, Dr. Nadal, for also speaking at the SAPA event. I think that was a great way to kind of get the two organizations to communicate a little bit and highlight what's going on in Sudan, as well as all other genocides around the world.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for the great work. The SAPA conference was really great. They had a lot of great speakers, many discussions about how to end the impunity that the genociders are enjoying, whether it's in Palestine or in Sudan or anywhere else in the world. They had a lot of international lawyers, international experts who talked about that. So I learned a lot from them, and again, we learn from each other, and we empower each other, and we are all to protect life for humanity wherever it is threatened, everywhere in the world. So thank you, Dr. Al-Mahdi. Now, please remember that the genocide in Sudan and Gaza unfortunately continue to go on, and the communities that are still struggling, they still need our support with advocacy, with speaking up, but they also need our support with donations, with trying to supply them with either food or supplies or medications, or rebuild their institutions. And we have our colleague, Mr. Iyad Amawi here, is to give us an update on the situation in Gaza, because that continues to be painful. And unfortunately, with the whole attention going to the war in Iran and Lebanon and other places, a lot of people forgot that the people in Gaza continue to undergo genocide, and the restrictions on aid and food and all these things continue. So Iyad will give us an update on this. تفضل إياد. أهلا وسهلا.
Assalamu alaikum. First and foremost, really, from my heart, from Gaza heart, we extend our deepest gratitude to Doctors Against Genocide, to all of our colleagues. Nidar, Karam, Maisa, Alice, Ribhi, everyone was participated, contributed to the march to the capital in defense of healthcare workers' rights and in calling for an end to genocide everywhere. MashaAllah alaikum, Dr. Nidal. I'm following all of the videos. It's very great, really great from my heart. MashaAllah, keep going. Really, your voice has reached us. We follow your efforts closely, and we take a pride in your solidarity from my deep heart. We need these efforts and more to reflect the full scale of suffering in Gaza and in all regions subjected to such atrocities. As you mentioned, Dr. Nidal, the situation in Gaza is so catastrophic. That is difficult to know where to begin, but do we begin with rodents feeding on human remains, with a humanitarian disaster affecting every aspect of life, with astronomical price rising uncontrollably, or with a severely restricted number of aid trucks, many carrying only limited food supplies, while essential items are blocked under the pretext of dual-use restrictions? The central reality is clear. We are living through hundreds of violations of an unreal ceasefire from the very first moment. Until now, there has been no genuine ceasefire, really. Before the webinar, they hit the motorcycle and they caused one martyr and the three seriously injured in the middle governance here. Claims of a truce are false, contradicted by overwhelming evidence. Gaza remains under suffering, really, my colleagues, and under a suffocating siege with a near total ban on materials necessary to restore life, or to restore hope, or provide even temporary shelter. Residents of Gaza, as I mentioned before, are confined to no more than 35% of Gaza area. And all of us are shrink to the western part of the strip and are completely prevented from accessing the eastern of the Gaza Strip, and are completely prevented, as well as the far north and the far south. Under the pretext of agreement and implementing the first phase, this is a result is really cause an extreme overcrowding and creation of a toxic, infectious environment. More than 15 winter storms have struck Gaza. Doctors Against Genocide and others try really help us, and you can imagine flooding tents more than 15 times, despite repeated international and local appeals. The response has been Daniel of the CA, Daniel of reduced aid access, Daniel of reality itself. What we are experiencing is really a slow, silent genocide that has not ceased for a single moment. We are now in the third year in which our children have been deprived of regular in-person education. Meanwhile, claims about reopening the Rafah cross-point and misleading. Medical evacuation and also remain extremely limited. No exceeding more than 20 up to 40 patients at maximum, while over 16,000 individuals urgently require treatment unavailable within Gaza. And the medical missions still try to come, they also prevent them. Freedom of movement is virtually non-existent also. No meaningful return, no travel, no employment. Gaza's economy has been entirely destroyed. Factories, farms, and production systems have been destroyed completely. Even agriculture also, my colleagues, seeds are paired from entry. The groundwater has been contaminated to the destruction of rock layers caused by repeated explosions from robots in eastern Gaza, allowing pollutions to infiltrate and to invade the aquifer. Calls to erase Gaza from existence, as they mentioned today, continue. The territory has been reduced to rubble, an environment marked by destruction, disease, and despair. With no meaningful signs of reconstruction, sporadic shellings continues, maintaining a constant state of fear and instability. And also we talk about so-called yellow zone has been alarming developments. More than 20 military sites have been established within its boundaries, alongside extensive trench excavations and installation of permanent military positions. Large areas of agriculture also within that region land have been systematically destroyed. Field evidence indicates deliberate fracturing of geological layers in eastern Gaza, contributing to severe damage to the groundwater reservoir and long-term contamination. These actions, my colleague, represent not only environmental destruction, but a strategic effort to render Gaza unlivable. And also the objective is clear, to create conditions that force the pollution into displacement. This is the underlying reality. And when I will mention some statistics that from October 2025 up to this April 2026, more than 2,400 documented violations, and maybe more than 754 martyrs, and more than 2,100 injured, more than 273 homes and facilities destroyed, and more than 1,109 direct strikes. And when we talk about our percentage here for the medical evacuation from there, it's just 7% of expected movement. And so finally, we're still living under construction, under genocide. There is no tangible change over the ground here. So we will send more than human appeals, keep going. We need really immediate entry of enough trucks for food, for reconstruction, full and permanent reopening Rafah and other cross points, and remove the restriction for the movement, and unrestricted entry of reconstruction and shelter materials, bulldozers, cranes, and the provision of international protection for civilians, and also establishment and encourage the international community to increase the pressure to stop really the genocide. We're still living from within the first level for the so-called peace process, but nothing here else. The shelter and strikes, air strikes at every night. As I mentioned before the webinar, they hit civilian targets, and every night they're still doing like that. So please keep going, keep support. Gaza needs you, and thank you, Dr. Nidal, and all of our colleagues in Doctor Against Genocide who is still active. Your activists reach our hearts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much. Is Munter with us? Munter, do you wanna...
Thank you so much, brother Riyad. You cover all what happened in Gaza and what is going on in Gaza and what we need in Gaza, actually.
Yes.
هو just I want to share there is a good news just now that Israel released 23 prisoners just a few hours ago,
Yes.
and that this number is very small
But their case is
compared to,
very bad situation here
yeah,
at Monder.
yeah, compared to
Yeah.
the number
And
that was still in the
yeah,
prisons, or thousands. They just allow to 23 people to be released,
yes.
and
Into
that's
Gaza?
only for the media.
Yeah, yeah. In the middle governance now. Yeah.
Okay. Any healthcare workers?
Yeah, they released them after they maybe hidden for more than 10 months without unknown destination,
Undocumented.
or the unknown
Yeah.
destination, undocumented. So, and a lot of families, they discover their relatives is still alive after they release them. So this is another big issue that need to spotlight and increase awareness and mobilize it.
Yeah. And this is why, it is a hostage situation, right? Because these people are disappeared. They're not right, like there's no legal process by which they're charged. There's no legal system. Really, they're kidnapped and they're disappeared, and there are about 9,600 right now that continue to be in those torture camps. 350 children, close to 100 healthcare workers, 3,500 that are under administrative detention. So basically, that's almost half of the total number are without charge.
Actually, in Gaza, we live day by day, and there is a news that there is one guy. His name is Khafir Milai. When he visited Israel, and he is visiting Israel at the moment, that is what's happening in Israel. So there is something big will happen. So we are expecting anything might happen. Actually, we are expecting to the war between Iran and Israel will return back next Tuesday. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. And also I see, who else is here from Gaza? Dr. Abdul Wahab.
Yes. أهلا كيف حالك؟
To see you. يا هلا يا هلا. تفضل.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام.
How are you? I want to take a little about the situation inside our hospital. Since yesterday, we received wounded from East Gaza after explosive injury. One of the wounded today we received at around 5 a.m. to Al-Shifa Hospital, a 25-year-old male patient, Down syndrome, arrived to us after explosive injury. I share the very small video about the patient on my page on Instagram. He is Down syndrome and he is inside the tent just due to he live at the east of Gaza. They bombed the child and arrived to us both lower limb fracture and he need X-fix for both lower limb and abdominal exploration, multiple small bowel injury, and multiple shrapnels at the chest. We performed surgery for abdomen and unfortunately for the orthopedic, we don't have at the morning X-fix. So he going just to cast and waiting for X-fix to arrive from another hospital, or if we remove it from another patient and sterilization of X-fix, and after that use the X-fix for the patient. So the situation really is so bad inside our hospital. According the number of patients increase every day, especially around from 1 week, the number of wounded increase. So I think before 10 days, we received 2 to 3 wounded every day. Now maybe we received around 20 patients every day and around 10 to 15 need for surgical intervention immediately. So that increased the load at our hospital, especially at the north. Just we have at just one hospital, Al-Shifa Hospital, as MOH hospital. This hospital covered all North Gaza Strip, and this hospital just have 7 operation room. And now the number of elective surgery decreased, the number of emergency cases increased. So the situation really getting worse now.
Thank you so much. And where is the hospital? It's in the east side of Gaza, the hospital. Is that the Sahaba hospital?
No.
Is
He's
this
talking about the Shifa.
Sahaba private hospital, not MOH
Oh,
hospital?
okay, no, this is the Shifa. Yeah.
Wallah, Abdul Wahab, you said you had to do surgery for some person, or they need the tool or something. You could not, you did not have it. You have to wait to get it from another hospital. What was that?
Yeah. X-fix for orthopedic.
For a fracture.
Oh yeah, for a fracture, external fixation. Already we don't have internal blade. So we
Okay.
use external fixation, and we don't have external fixation. So waiting to remove it from some patient and sterilization. After that, we use it for the patient, or we wait for from if some doctor come from outside Gaza, maybe bring with him for 1 or 2 patients, just so little amount.
So you're talking about Al Shifa Hospital. This is supposedly the largest hospital in the north of
Yeah,
Gaza, the only hospital that's covering north of Gaza. And
the only
they
hospital
have been
from
out
MOH. Yeah,
of internal plates for the whole duration of the genocide. They were
yeah, yeah,
dependent on the external fixators. And now even the external fixators, the numbers are very limited. The whole hospital does not have one. They have to wait on
yeah,
an external fixator from another patient to be taken out of him, sent to sterilization, and use it for this patient.
yeah. That
Wow.
contraindication, but we do that due to not available.
Actually, I want two doctors to comment on this. We have Dr. Suyang because she's an orthopedic doctor, and I want to have Dr. David Sperber comment on this because he just had an orthopedic surgery. أول شيء الحمد لله على السلامة. Welcome back, and we missed you. But now, since you have iron knees, inshallah, you'll be doing every week advocacy going forward. So let's go with Dr. Suyang. I mean, how can you, as an orthopedic doctor, manage, having this number of injuries, the number of injuries increasing? You don't have internal plates. That's out of the question. Now you're dealing with, you have to take external fixators from a patient here and use it for another patient there.
I think it's crazy. I don't know what to say. Okay, I have been in a situation where we just invent. Maybe we use pins, tendon pins, and X-fix it, and then we have orthopedic cement put in a ventilation tube to act as a bars. But to take something out of another patient to put into this patient is absolutely, I don't know what to say, because what will happen to the person who has an external fixator on his leg? If you take it out, that means his leg is not stable, right? So do you have plaster to put him on, or you don't have anything, or you just splint it with a wooden thing? And then you take this, you sterilize, and you put in a new patient. Okay, maybe in this particular situation, you manage to control the situation for a few days. But then if you keep on shooting, what will happen to the next patient that comes in with leg like that? So this is actually a disastrous situation. And I don't know, I think first thing, this situation, I am not saying that it will help, but really, it should be reported directly to the WHO. Because what happened is our doctors, when they actually are going to Gaza, they are not allowed to bring anything in. So certainly in the old days where our teams, they carry all the equipment in. I think now it's not possible because the Israelis will just take everything away from them. So they are not allowed to take anything in which is not for their personal use. And an external fixator, I'm quite sure, at the border will be confiscated. So this is very, very urgent, and it's an emergency. And
So
I don't
Dr.
know whether you got
Suyang,
plaster.
yeah, did you ever hear anywhere in the world that these plates, orthopedic plates, whether internal plates or external plates, have been used to make weapons anywhere else in the world? I mean, why are they not allowing them in? Is this excuse of dual use even applicable here, or this is part of the campaign of genocide and medicide to make people die by other means?
Yes, this is to make people die. External fixator, what kind of weapons can you make with it? You tell me. It is definitely medical because when some of our teams bring it in, it's all actually new. We don't bring in any used equipment. So it's all packaged and it will say for external use, medical equipment and so on. They still confiscate. So it is actually starving the patients from medical treatment. It is a situation when you can't even improvise. And the only thing you can do is harvest it from another patient who is not so acutely in need of it to just temporarily fix this patient, whereas that one now cannot mobilize. He's got no external fixation. I tell you, this is really horrible. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. And trust me, I've been 43 years with this kind of situation in war, but this is really because I think they have depleted everything they can use and no fresh supply can come in.
David, do you have anything to comment on this, please?
Well,
Imagine yourself in this situation or any patient in this situation.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can all
Good.
hear you.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Alhamdulillah, salam ya Awal Shi. Welcome back.
Thank you. Shukran. Well, as you know, I'm not an orthopedist by any means, but hearing this, it just makes me feel all the more, angry. Here, I was able 3 weeks ago to have, a titanium knee replacement, and with all of the bells and whistles and all of the, ancillary medications and treatments, and I get physical therapy twice a week at home. And here, my friends in Gaza, can't even have external fixation for a broken bone. It's clear that this has nothing to do with dual use anything. This is, any more than yesterday or the day before, the genocidal entity bombing a water tanker and destroying the truck and killing the drivers, can be construed in any way as that water tanker was a military threat. This is, what we all know it is. This is genocide, just one of its many forms that are being so applied by the, correctly called genocidal entity. And so, it's heartbreaking to me to hear this, and I feel like, we just have to redouble our efforts. I think, maybe this particular thing, we should, as a group, send
Yeah.
this information to every congressman, every senator in
It's
this
a war
country.
crime.
Yeah, it's a war crime. And just say, this is a simple one thing. Did you know, Congressman, did you know, Senator, that there's no external fixation for a broken bone in Gaza? That in order to get one, it has to be taken off of another patient. Did you were you aware that a water tanker was bombed and the drivers killed? Enough is enough. I mean, we all know the frustration of trying to deal with the American government, but I think we have to do it anyway. These are things that maybe they won't hear otherwise than coming from us. So I will do that with my representatives, the
Yeah.
3 for where I live, and I think but we have to cover the waterfront. So maybe Nidal, we should talk about how to do that. But in the next day or two, let's just cover them with that information and hope that it gets to the actual elected representatives. But my heart, as always, goes out to the people in Gaza, the doctors in Gaza who are trying to, to help with such limited means. And, I don't know what to say. I feel, and I have right along feel guilty about, that I have this luxury that I
No,
can
no,
have.
never say that. It's not your
Well,
fault to have any replacement.
it's not my fault, but I can't I can't help it. I
No, in your situation, it is like if someone needs a knee replacement, his pain is greater than yours, and your surgeon going to take your knee replacement out, sterilize it, and put in the hip. Come on,
yeah,
And
sure, I know.
and not only that, there are trucks and trucks of all kinds of medical equipment that can come in. And we got the money to send it now. Somebody can go in. The next medical team that come in can bring this in, but it's not allowed. The rule now for medical doctors is that they cannot take any medicine which they are not consuming themselves. They cannot take any dressings which they are not using on themselves. They cannot take in coats and all that kind of thing. They can't take anything.
Yeah.
So this is actually a very important point for Dania and Iman and team leaders and anyone who's doing the follow-up emails. Please, we want to include this in the follow-up emails that the patients in Gaza are not getting the medical supply, the fixators that they need. This is a very important point, as David mentioned. If we, the doctors, the healthcare workers, do not bring it up, usually it goes buried, and we don't want to just talk about the conflict in the abstract. These minor
No.
details, these
Exactly.
are very important, and it can, it can push some people to do some action. But I hope also Dr. Sui can support what I'm saying. The external fixators are not standard of care anymore. Here in the West, they don't use, these are obsolete. No one uses external fixators
That
anymore.
is
The
the
standard
most
of care
basic
is
of the basic. Yeah.
exactly. Everyone here in the United States, the standard of care is internal plates. So they don't have the external plates. They are already forced to use external fixators, which are obsolete. Now they don't have enough numbers of them, and they have to take it from one patient and sterilize it and put it back. We know that the sterilization process is not guaranteed, especially in Gaza with the sanitation situation. The hospitals don't have also enough material and supplies to sterilize these things correctly. And external fixators means the wound continues to be open. This is an external procedure. So
Yeah.
even the best situations, even in the United States, that is an invitation for infections and for sepsis and amputations. Imagine yourself when you're in a tent and we don't have clean water and we don't have supplies. So the risk of infection, it skyrockets. And even when they get infected, they come back to the hospital. The hospital does not have all the antibiotics and the right antibiotics. Usually, infections like these are usually worst type of bacteria. Bacteria are resistant to bugs
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So you need really strong antibiotics. So just see how the vicious circle that is happening now, just because they are not allowing, the simple, basic, medical supply to go in. And we have also Dr. Kram, our colleagues here, who also has a plate and he has a fracture. He had to suffer with this. We really need to hear your feedback on this, Kram. Imagine yourself or anyone going through this process, how painful or inhumane
crazy.
the treatment of people have to go through this, whether as doctors or patients.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everybody. A couple insights that I had. Sorry, just trying to imagine myself because so around 17 years ago, I had a left acetabulum fracture and a comminuted pelvic fracture as well, along with around 6 to 7 rib fractures and 47% third-degree burns to my body as well from a car accident. I had a open reduction internal fixation with around 13 pins and 2 plates on my left hip done. I was trying to imagine the pain. That was done around in 2009, and just last year I had the left hip replaced completely because the pain, chronically ended up getting worse. It of course it was much better after the initial procedure, but it kept getting worse over the years. So just to kind of show how these things don't ever really go away, they only compound and get worse, especially with more activity. Um, uh, the other thing, brought up about emailing our representatives. I think that's extremely important.
Yeah.
One thing I just remembered was the last appointment that I just had on the Hill with a representative. She wasn't my representative. I wasn't exactly sure how the appointment would go because this was the first time I was meeting their office. I was with Dr. Mohammed Kaziz, one of our colleagues, pediatrician who was in Gaza as well. The reason I'm bringing this up is because one of the discussions that we had in their office was regarding surfactant, which we've talked about multiple times in our webinars over the week, and how there is no surfactant in Gaza. And when we brought that discussion up to that staffer representative, we didn't really know how it was going to go, but remarkably, the first thing that the staffer said was, let's write up a letter. I want you, and he's speaking to Dr. Muhammad and us in the office, that he wants us to write that letter with him so that way he can push that out there to state why are we not allowing a medication like surfactant in. So I think it's extremely important to email those reps and also include it the next month when we go to the Hill too, especially with our lived experiences, because that really makes such a big difference. Because at the same office, just a little bit of hope to put in there. The staffer stated to us that the sole reason that representative signed on to all the bills last month, including the Block the Bombs bill, was solely because a member of Doctors Against Genocide, who was a veteran, had described to that office exactly how the weapons that the US sends over actually operate. And because they weren't aware of how those weapons actually operated, and because one of our members described that to them, that was the sole reason they stated that representative signed on to the Block the Bombs Act. So just to show how important our advocacy is, our message is. And the thought that was going through my head at that time was, these people might not remember our names. A lot of our names, of course, are difficult to remember, but they might not remember our names, but they definitely do remember our faces. They definitely do remember our words, and they definitely take it to account. And for him to say that that was the sole reason that representative signed on to the bill, it just gave me so much hope, because I think Mesa said earlier too, just to echo, a lot of this can be extremely demoralizing. I feel like almost 80% of when we go there can be demoralizing. And that day, every meeting that we had was filled with so much hope, just because, this was the first time these staffers were so receptive and offering more, and not only offering more, but letting us know the difference that we were actively making. And I thought that was beautiful. And I wanted to put that out there just as a reminder of all the work that we're doing, and to kind of keep that hope there. And that I know sometimes it feels like we're yelling into that void, but it really, really absolutely does make a difference.
Thank you, Karim. It's very important.
No problem.
Yeah, we're lucky to have some of our members who have such tremendous knowledge. Is Mary Beth there? She's
Yeah, I see her right
of
there.
knowledge when it comes to logistics and arms. And was it you, Mary Beth?
Yeah.
There's very few women DAG member veterans, so I'm guessing, because I think I'm the only one right
Must be
now.
me. Must be me. Maybe
It must be
I'm a bit
Nadal.
Must be
No,
Nadal.
it was
Nadal's
it was
extensive military
If
experience.
it was very impactful, it must be me, not Maribeth.
it was definitely
Wow. Tell us how you really
Okay.
feel, Nadal.
Okay, go ahead, Maribeth. Tell us what did you tell them?
I was gonna say it was definitely Mary Beth, because the second he said that, I yelled out, "That's Mary Beth!" And he's like, "Yes, that rings a bell."
Yeah. Sometimes people remember me for good reasons, right? Not always, oh, that troublemaker.
Yeah.
You know,
it record, Mary Beth, I've never seen you cause any trouble.
Yeah.
Right?
I just think you have this, for some reason you have a reputation, but it's not true.
Well, I mean, it's a little true. It is, and that's okay too. Like when you have a huge umbrella of privilege, you have to be the one to push further into the boundaries of the propaganda and the machine of white supremacy as it exists in our United States here, at least. Even though you would hope that these Congress people know and they have a whole staff of people who are supposed to tell them, here's what you're signing on to. Here's what you're putting your name on. Somehow, they seem to really miss the impact and the understanding and deeper meaning. I have found earlier on, there was kind of like an incredulousness about how much people don't know that they agreed to send in terms of this violence and these mechanisms of violence. But then you have to kind of just put that aside and be like, okay, they just don't. And this is my opportunity to teach them. And I get to be the voice of the first one who explains to them the damage they are doing with sending these arms and armaments. And I actually think being a woman helps because these often younger male staffers, they don't have to meet ego with ego. Right? As they mind if a man were teaching them, but I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom, a friendly lady, right? Like the infantilization of white women in America, it kind of like works in my favor here. I'm non-threatening and I can teach them about, hey, these bombs that you're sending. I know you've heard a lot about like, oh, it's taking out tunnels. It doesn't actually penetrate deep enough to impact any tunnels. It's only surface. And what it does is basically pulverize human bodies that you can't even get a body count because there's nothing left. Because human beings are evaporated by it ostensibly. All it does is cause destruction of infrastructure. And again, these people are just like, wow, I had no idea. Well, okay, now now do something about it. Know better, do better, right? So that's
what do you
it.
think?
I think we have to remember that we are the experts in our fields,
Yeah.
And some of these people really do respect us, and it's our duty to kind of educate them, even though because a lot of the stuff I feel like they're just woefully ignorant on. They don't even choose to try to educate themselves on, even though they do have the channels that they can be able to go and find the right resources or talk to the right people to find the exact information on. They need it spoon fed to them, basically, right?
You know, if I may say something,
Yeah.
I really think there is a lack of common sense and humanity in the Congress and the Senate. There are lobbyists who are advocating for profit or for increased military spending. And there is a lack of commonsensical people who come and sit in this office and ask for protection of health, protection of humanity. And I think, we started in November 2023 going to the Hill. And now it's been 2 years and a half, right? That we are going. And we're just cracking the surface of it. So we need to build our movement. We need to make common sense and humanity become the mainstream. We are against the military industrial complex, no question about it. And we are against psychopathic people who think they can torture people into oblivion so that they disappear. This is happening in Gaza and it's happening in Lebanon. In Lebanon, 15% of the population is displaced. And the Israelis are now demolishing the homes so that they do not let people go back to their homes. It is psychopathological, and common sense and humanity has to fight this extreme tsunami of inhumanity. So I think, while we're talking about the external fixators, a lot of us thought of ideas how to engage representatives and senators, and these are simple things, but sometimes an example can make a big difference.
Yeah.
So we're just brainstorming together, and we should take this into action and make it a big deal. Make it a big deal because it is a big deal, and it's relatively easy to understand. The fixators are there, the fractured people are here, the doctors need them. There are no sanitation. Let's push and see how far we can get with this.
And also, I want to raise your attention to the fact what Dr. Phil has written in the chat about 6,500 tracks, and which is 135 kilometers. I've just taken a picture of it. So it's not that there's no aid. Aid is blockaded. The blockade is a problem. So when we're writing about this man, I think we need something simple as how he ended up being injured, when did he come in, and his age, and that he's got a family, just to humanize him, and then follow with the story.
Yeah, personalize the story.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the strategy too, like in addition to advocacy, I know Yiping had to leave for another meeting, but in Canada, there's it's a trade show on weapons, a weapons trade show that's coming up called CanSac. And this is where all these, horrific military industrial complex representatives come, and they sign these deals. They purchase weapons, they sell weapons, and it's a big deal. It's like highly attended. All the government officials are there. And last year there was action. It was, I think last year was still the Trudeau government. And I remember like how disgusting, they're proud to host this even like in Ottawa. So this year it's coming up, and there's planned action around it. And I think, joining like that with advocacy, but also highlighting that on that day there's an event where this is happening, and then creating action also around that could create a very powerful kind of joint action. And I think in New York there's something happening too. So like we just need to kind of keep connecting the dots, right? Like nothing happens in vacuum. Like yes, our officials are signing on the wrong policies, but also industry is responsible. Right? We can't disconnect these two from each other, and we need to find all those connections and link them together.
If I just may jump in a little bit. So when we started advocating for the mobile homes, a lot of the education we did during these meetings were that they were being prevented from being let in because they were considered a dual use items, and we were to educate them on what are on these lists of what the Israeli military considers its dual use. And something I noticed this time around in two of the meetings I attended were that in the past, when we would try to educate these members on what is a dual use item, their response was kind of like, they didn't know, or the kind of earnest, kind of eager to find out why. This time around, I kid you not, two responses we got from staffers were, oh, because the Israeli government just doesn't want to let them in. So I found that very, because we went from, okay, they didn't know, here we are educating them on what they consider a dual use item and that they consider mobile homes. And in theory, a mobile home is, forget dual use, it's multi-use, right?
A tent.
It's a multi-use item. But we were just educating them on the ridiculousness of what is being prevented. But I just thought it was so interesting that this time around, two of the staffers we met with were just like, oh, they're just not letting them in because they don't want to let them in. And it's like, while that is validating to hear, I don't think it should stop there. You know what I mean? Like, it was validating because this is how ridiculous, this is the point we're at, where this is an entity, a genocidal entity that's not letting in things because they feel like the people in Gaza are not deemed worthy of having dignified housing or, an external fixator, all these things. But still, it shouldn't stop at a staffer saying, oh, because they don't want to let it in. So I think, Huram, I beg you to, let's follow up, let's work on this, let's get it. If somebody has given you this idea, see it as a blessing where we can jump in and let's work on it together and circulate it to as many offices as we can.
Yeah, please do it. Yeah, because now we have come to a ridiculous position that the Israelis don't even have to say it's dual use. It's just not allowed, full stop.
Well, this is what I found interesting is that the staffers who a month ago didn't know what a list of dual use items are, and here we are
Not
kind of,
everything is not allowed.
and then the response was, oh, because they just don't want to let it in, but we can't, you know what I mean? Like
This
it's
is
ridiculous, but we
lousy,
shouldn't let this be the status
And
quo of
the next
okay,
step, they want them to die. So we have to agree.
yes,
Is that, is that the logic? Yeah.
So we got a similar response, Danya, at one of the meetings that we were at, and Dr. Kazid is so good at his explanation and his lived experience that he had in Gaza. Just explaining to them that surfactant is a drug that like you can't even give to adults because it's going to cause you to bleed, your lungs to bleed. It's solely meant for premature babies.
Yes.
And after he stated that, it kind of clicked in their head that, okay, you can't give this to adults. So they're thinking most likely in their head that combatants or whatever the hell they're thinking. But after he said that, then there's literally no pushback after that. So I think you're absolutely right. You have to describe it in a way, first of all, not allow them to just stay at that kind of like stage where they really don't know what that dual use purpose is. But again, as healthcare professionals, for us to educate them on what the purpose is for, especially with external fixators, that it's not even something that you would be able to use on a dual purpose or whatever they're thinking would be used for,
Making the
I don't want
bomb.
to say, but
But I think
you
Huram
understand.
even feeding
Yeah,
into that narrative is also
yeah,
kind of dangerous too, because
it is.
it's multi-use. We can list various reasons as to, you know what I mean? So I think us, like,
You're
we
right.
cannot fall into this trap of
You're right.
just making sure that why we need an external fixator fits into the Israeli government narrative of not, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I think it's very
yeah,
important that we, like I said with the mobile homes, it's like, okay, can you take it apart and pull the aluminum out of it? And you can, but you also can do 1,000,001 things and shelter people and keep them dry and keep them safe and keep them from being bitten by mice and rodents and all the infestations going around. So I think we have to be very, because I think we've all kind of been conditioned to fall into this like making it good for Israel. And I think we have to like work on, like, oh, it's multi-use actually. It's not dual use, it's multi-use. It does this, that, and the third. You know what I mean?
No, I agree 100% because I think that if we don't do that, it just allows them to just
Get away with it. Yeah.
right, get away with it and continue the impunity there, and basically not have any of those checks and balances and kind of let Israel do whatever the hell it wants to and just be like, okay, as long as we use this word that it's dual use, period, there's nothing beyond that, but pushing back on that hey, yes, it
Spaghetti
is
is
dual use.
pasta is dual use. Okay.
Right, right. Pasta
So
is dual use.
what do you
Yeah, good.
suggest? What do you suggest, Dania?
Good.
What's the best way to do it? If you don't mind me asking, I missed that point.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that, like, why not own up to that these are dual use items, right? And list why they are dual and multi-use and list all the reasons that somebody needs an external fixator. Instead of
I
just
think in this case it's quite straightforward. You just write up the case simply that this is a man, maybe 25 years old, who was hit by a shell. I assume maybe it's not, you better check up the details, was brought in a hospital with an open fracture. And the first step to stabilize the leg is to put an external fixator. The hospital has run out. They have
So
to
Dr.
remove it.
Sweet, your suggestion is that we focus on one case and personalize
Just this
it
particular
enough?
case. Yeah, because it's very illustrative. And they couldn't get it from the other hospital. The doctors, the incoming medical team are not allowed to bring it in because, of regulations. There are how many? 135 kilometer worth of humanitarian supplies, which are not allowed to come in. And the doctors have to take an external fixator out of another patient and put it on him. This is the stage of the siege and blockade, right? So we might end up with both patients losing their leg because the other man now don't have an external fixator, so it's unstable and infected. Now we have new man with an external fixator, which is taken from the other man, which might potentially get infected. So he might lose his leg too, right? So this is crazy. And we know that there are other cases like that. We're just raising this because we can at least make people understand the dire situation, right? Because if you make it too complicated, because any intelligent aide to a congressman, a politician, will, excuse me, doctor, can you explain what it's all about? Why have they run out? Then you can give the facts that all these are not allowed in. Surfactant is not allowed in. Antibiotics is boycotted. Babies, you heard Dr. Alfara, every 2 weeks they change the baby formula. So babies are getting diarrhea all the time, right? So this is actually, they allow the hospital to kind of rebuild a bit, but they stop it from functioning. It's a very effective way of stopping the work of the hospitals and the doctors.
So
Simple case.
yeah, as you said, guys. So you have to personalize it. You have also to consider that these staffers or congresspeople are overwhelmed with a tsunami of demands from all over the place, and they have also those lobbies that come and push them and pressure them to do stuff like that. So educating them and try to refocus their attention to what really matters is important. And as Quran mentioned, this is a very important. Talk to any lawyer in the world. You are the only doctor in the room. You are the only healthcare worker in the room. Your testimony important. You can have a million politicians in front of you. You can have Trump himself sitting there. When you talk about medicine and the medical need, you are the only expert in the room, and everyone should listen. So your testimony is very important. You have to take it seriously and make sure that what you say, whether it's dual use or triple use or multi-use, this is a life-saving instrument. This is a life-saving medication. This is a life-saving equipment. Regardless of what politicians say, what military people say, as a healthcare worker, it is your duty, and you are the only expert, and your testimony does count. Phil, what do you have to do you have a feedback on this, Phil?
He has written a whole lot on
I just wanted to add one detail to what Dr. Ames just said. There's a study that I just read last week in which the problem is that sometimes in the OR, a prosthesis, a hip prosthesis, gets dropped on the floor.
True.
And so this study, and sometimes they just have that one specific size in the hospital. And so there has been this practice of quickly sterilizing it, re-sterilizing it, and then implanting it. And so this study looked at what the infection rate was in those cases, and it was significantly higher than it was for prostheses that had not been dropped. So if it's that critical, the idea of taking a used prosthesis out of a patient and implanting it in another one is going to have a much higher complication rate. If a brand new one, never been used, just re-sterilized, is more likely to cause infection than. So let's get some of those trucks in with those prostheses.
Yeah,
so
and we have got it. We've got, because MAP has been sending external fixators to Gaza ever since 2009. We've got lots of it, but it's blockaded. And, this is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, we have to get away with this dual use argument and excuse. I mean, that's not acceptable. They have been bombing Gaza for 2-3 years, and they bombed the whole world. They should not worry about an orthopedic
Just
plate
let this in.
to threaten a nuclear armed country.
It's going to happen.
If they're worried about dual use, they should quit dropping bombs, because some of them don't explode, and they're very good for dual use.
Yeah, and yes, that's how they make their rockets.
That's a good point too. Yeah, that's a good point too.
Where does Hamas get the rocket?
Or maybe they can just send the pins, right? Like instead of having to use those fixators in the first place, like send the proper protocols. Allow the doctors to do the right thing.
We're not asking for the moon. We just want a simple fixator. This is
just ridiculous.
It's psychopathological. The minds that think like that are just rotten.
These are people with a mind commit genocide, okay?
Yeah, it's just like,
How
you
would
know,
you let them die, you know,
who
without,
thinks about banning surfactant
yeah,
Yeah.
to let babies suffocate
or pasta
because
or baby formula.
they cannot
Yeah.
breathe?
No, who would go into NASA hospital and switch off the
Disgusting.
electricity and let 31 ventilated patients die? We heard from Dr. Alfara last week.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
disgusting.
31 patients just
And
died.
cutting all of the probes of the ultrasound machines, just cutting
Yes.
them. They can't
Yeah.
be used again, ever.
Yeah.
We can also
Eh,
make the argument, especially with the officers that did sign on the bombs, that we can tell them that there's only one single use for the bombs that you signed on, which is to kill.
Yeah.
I mean, even the dual use, we would take it anytime, but those are only used to kill people and kill children. Good
Also,
discussion.
I want
This
to
is very important. I think we
Dr.
both learned a little bit about how to
Yeah.
use this argument next time. Abdullah, تفضل.
I want to mention to something. Now also the patient complain from stomach bag not available here, so they
Yeah.
use bag from any bag, not the stomach
Plastic
bag, not
bag.
available. Yeah, basket bag. Also, we will talk about his fine needle aspiration and true cut biopsy before 3 months. Fajr Global, do you know Fajr Global? Fajr Global covered all patients with for
Yeah.
true cut biopsy and fine needle aspiration. Since around 10 days, Fajr Global left North Gaza Strip and not support any for more than this true cut and fine needle aspiration not available at all MOH, even north or south. So this also a big problem now. We have it here. Also, every day, we face a lot of patients complain thyroid disorder, breast cancer, or colon cancer. Today, I meet a patient, female patient, diagnosed as bilateral breast cancer. So we will go for bilateral mastectomy due to nothing available here, even chemotherapy or radiotherapy.
Yeah.
And we can't refer the patient outside Gaza. So young patient will go to bilateral mastectomy, nothing else. So this big problem also.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the Fajr, or why they don't supply North Gaza with this fine needle biopsy products anymore?
Fajr supported they said we can support just for 3 months, and after that we will lift. And they support 100 case every month for true cut biopsy and fine needle aspiration. After 3 months, now they said we can't continue with this, and we will go for another project. Also, they support for minor, moderate, and major cases for elective surgery that decrease the number of cases from elective surgery. And now they stop all the support for these cases. Every month, they supported 100 cases for general surgery, 100 for neurosurgery, 100 for orthopedic surgery, minor, moderate, major. Now, nothing.
Why? Why did they stop?
We don't know. They sudden left North Gaza Strip.
Yeah, because of political pressure, must be.
Yeah, I mean, we have to figure this out. But also, this is a reminder that organizations, whether it's Fajr or DAG or any
Yeah.
other organization, you cannot really take care of a responsibility of a whole population. There's only, unfortunately, so much you can do. I mean, we are struggling
Yeah.
ourselves too, because sometimes we support this project, then we run out of funds, we don't have enough money, then we have to stop it.
Yeah.
So that's in the best case scenario. Even if we do, like there are projects that Abdul Wahab himself and many other doctors want us to do, and we know that they're very important, and we start helping them. Then we don't have enough money, we don't have enough funds, because you're talking about you need a government level. You have an international.
Yeah.
This is a population of 2+ million people who've been
Exactly,
undergone genocide for 2 years. They have literally nothing, no homes, no food. They are already malnourished. They're already suffering, bad immune system. Their psychological, situation. I mean, we say ourselves that we're sick from genocide outside. Imagine yourself in Gaza,
Yeah.
lost half your family, lost your home, you lost all your life savings. You cannot even recognize the street that you lived on. So I mean the needs are huge. That's why we need to keep the advocacy to stop this and open the borders for everyone
Yes.
and for the international community to take a responsibility for this, because while small organizations like Fajr or DAG or Heal and all these things are trying to do a little bit here, a little bit there, but they are not a substitute for international intervention, open the borders and rebuild the
Yep.
economy. So we cannot forget that. But we really need to figure out what happened with Fajr. And a month ago or 2 months ago, it was MSF. So we cannot leave the people, the welfare of the people, at the mercy
Yeah.
of small organization here and there. You might have little funds for this month, then you stop next month. I mean, what's going to happen to these people now?
Yeah. They
It's
just walk out.
this is also tragic
Strange.
by itself.
Before we forget, Dr. Abdul Wahab, can you just tell Carme a little bit of details about this patient, since they're going to write to Congress, of the external fixator? How was he injured and so on, Very, very simple, basic, like a small case report, just one paragraph like that.
About the patient that arrived to us today.
Today, is it?
Yeah.
What happened to his leg?
This patient, 25-year-old male
Okay.
patient, now as case of Down syndrome, live at tent at Jabalia. At early morning, around 5 a.m., arrived to us at Al Shifa Hospital with not alone, with mass casualty.
Mass casualty.
Yeah. After targeted by drones.
Drone,
And
okay.
arrived to us with explosive injury. He arrived with multiple shrapnel in chest, abdomen, and both lower limb. We go for urgent abdominal exploration, and according to our surgical department for abdomen and general surgery, we perform abdominal exploration and repair for bowel and both chest tube due to explosive injury at the chest. But due for lower limb, he need for X-fix for both lower limb.
Okay.
And at this moment, not available at Al Shifa Hospital.
Yeah.
And at early morning, they can't bring it from any hospital, even at the south. So he will wait for another day or another patient to remove X-fix and get the X-fix.
Okay. Yeah. So I think. Sorry.
What are the chances that another patient will actually not need the external fixator and give it to this patient with Down syndrome?
We have a lot of patients on X-Fix. Thousands of patients have X-Fix. So every day come to Shifa Hospital, some patient to remove it. And after that, we disinfection or sterilization the X-Fix and use it again.
That's what you've been doing it. I think, Karma, this is very important because the patient has got Down syndrome. So he's definitely not a Hamas fighter, okay? Just in case a congressman, a politician say, oh, yeah. So there's no excuse.
A disability patient, yeah.
Yeah, he's got Downs, okay?
Yeah.
So you don't target Downs,
Dr. Ng, you said that they have external fixations already. Where are they located? Are they on the corridor?
They used to have it.
They used to have it, okay.
They used to have it because every time, other organizations also supply, you see. We bring in, lots and lots of hardware because orthopedic hardware is very heavy, you see. So our limb reconstruction team, I think you know some of the people there, Dr. Rees, Graham Groom, and so on. They used to carry all their things in, you see. But then now they can't go, or even if they can go, they cannot carry anything as well, you see. So,
Dr. Abdul Wahab, do you think you can send us photos of this patient with the permission of himself and his family?
I have a small video around 6 seconds. I will send it.
That would be
I
great.
can share
And
it here.
pictures of the injury and all that, X-rays. Just
Yeah,
let's make it a case study.
You can share it with me, or we can share it here if it's ready. If not, we can share it with the Congress people. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think that this is important.
I will share the video. I have it now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in the chat. I think it was on his Instagram.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I can play it. If you send it to me, Quorum, I can play it. It's probably easier for me to play.
I sent it. I think I sent it, yeah, directly to you.
To me?
I share it with you,
Yeah.
Dr. Nidar.
Oh, I have it. I have it here. Maisa, I'll send it to you.
They have to open Rafa. They cannot do this, you know.
It's there in the WhatsApp, Maisa.
Okay, I got it.
Oh,
Is this it?
oh, oh, wow. Miskin.
Yeah.
How old is he
Wow.
exactly?
25. Down syndrome, so he's probably
25, yeah.
wow.
Does anybody use external fixators in the US anymore?
Oh yeah. For limbs that are so messed up that you just cannot immediately operate, so you just stabilize it with a
Okay.
frame.
Yeah,
And
I
then
got to scrub it on a few with an X fix that they were so like there was so much soft tissue damage that they couldn't
yes,
do the internal
yeah,
fix. Yeah.
or it's too contaminated.
Hmm.
Yeah, you just leave it, you know, the stage one, and then you reconstruct it later on. Yeah.
Maybe we can take one with us to the hill next month.
Abdul Wahab, since you're here,
Yeah.
you said since you're here and you're a surgeon, so the fixators is one problem. Then you mentioned about the colostomy bags.
Yes.
What they don't have the colostomy bags too? I mean, people are end up using just regular bags for their colon, or what's happening?
Yeah. We, due to the large number of colostomy patients, we don't have the bag or the colostomy bag. Some patients use basket bag due to not available. Maybe one bag reach to 20 shekel, around $7 or $8. So the patient can't buy it as every day. And MOH can't provide it for all the patients. We catch it from some doctors come from outside Gaza, and we ask them to bring stoma and some stapler, some instrument. They bring it with them.
Usually, how often do the patient need to change their bags, or how many bags do they need? So someone who has a colostomy, how often do they
I
need to
used
new
to I
bag?
used to have one for about 2 years. I would have to change it I'd say about a couple times a day. That was over here, so
To throw it and get a new one, or you can still use the same one?
no, I would have to throw it and get a new one. I couldn't use the same one because it's
You cannot use the same one
no,
That's
twice a
not
day.
So I
no.
will point out, speaking of Medicare, Medicaid for all in the United States, tying that in, I was also a CNA for a while, a nurse's aide, and people who had private insurance at the nursing home, when you would change out their colostomy bag, you would give them a new bag. But if they
Yeah.
had like the poor people coverage, we as the CNAs would actually have to wash out their bags
Oh
here
wow.
in the US and put the same bag back on them. Just throwing that in there.
Wow.
And also for the dual use excuses, plastic bag is a plastic bag. There's
Yeah, it is
no
a
dual
plastic
use for
bag.
plastic bag. So please, I mean, we need to also mention this. I mean, these are, and the number of people who need the colostomy bag because of the major, injuries that
Yeah.
they have, the people with colostomies, because they don't have also, there is a waiting list on patients getting, a reversal of their colostomy. So that's why Abdul Wahab have been helping with us, like people who have to live with a colostomy and they cannot even afford the bag. So it's good. Some of them, not everyone. Some people are with terminal colostomy, or it cannot be reversed. But at least those who can have a reversible colostomy, if you do surgery for them, and that will relieve them of the need to keep living with the colostomy and have to keep changing the bag. So we need a support for this program too, and the world need to help with also support the doctor, the surgeons in Gaza who can reverse this colostomy so the people can go back to their normal life. Add to all of this, even if they do have the bags, even if they have access to 4 bags a day. You are living in a tent. You don't have, the sanitation
You don't have water.
situation is terrible, and your diet is already bad. Your immune system is already bad. It's just, and imagine yourself, just the privacy of this. Imagine yourself being in a tent among thousands of people are in tents and having to deal with this bag and change this bag. I mean, even on the psychological level, the psychological trauma by itself
Yeah.
is humongous.
Yesterday, I
I
performed
believe
surgery for a male patient, a 15-year-old male patient diagnosed as lymphoma, and waiting for waiting list for surgery or referral. He come to us after perforated tumor, and patient arrived to us septic shock, and we go to emergent surgery with right hemicolectomy and anastomosis. But the patient now in critical situation and ICU, and maybe need that after that maybe need another surgery for ileostomy. So mostly he will go to leak, and we perform anastomosis due to we know what is the after that what is the complaint with patient for ileostomy. No bag, no stoma. So we go to anastomosis, and I'm sure the patient will go to leak, and after that will go to stoma.
the bags are also banned though. You can't bring the bags in either.
Well, I just had one of the surgeons on our medical team he brought about 100 bags, was all confiscated.
Oh wow.
Mm.
No reason given?
No,
Just
this is
oh,
not
wow.
allowed because the doctor can only carry in what he uses. These are new regulations. Since he hasn't got a stoma, why should he carry in all this? So the whole lot
Only
went
stuff for the personal use of the doctor themselves. Even
Yeah.
if you have more than one stethoscope, they will take the second one. You're
That's
only
right.
allowed only the things that you're going to use personally, not to give to
Yeah.
anyone else or to a patient.
Yeah, so that's gone. Yeah.
This is like the level of ridiculousness we're allowing just in broad daylight. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, I see your point, Danya, that you were bringing up earlier because like the second if we don't push back on them saying dual use, then this is what they get away with.
Yeah.
And I promise they're receptive. Like once you mention that, yeah, it is actually dual and multi and triple. They
this
they
not
cannot
dual
argue
use.
with
Yeah.
You know, just for practical reasons, if we want to have a campaign, are there resolutions that we can push forward on medical aid so that they can pass to link it with some action?
I mean, just the humanitarian one, which I mean, I know we talk about the importance of looking at all like this, the surgical precision of like the problems and looking at it from person to person, but really this can all be resolved by opening the border. Like so many of these issues that we discuss here weekly can really be resolved. But the importance of talking case by case is to kind of illuminate and highlight how, because when you talk about it in a broader sense, you don't really see the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah.
But when you take it case by case,
you
you're
see
just
the
like blown away.
the blockade of food, water, medical equipment, and fuel constitute a war crime, genocide. You know.
And this is COGAT determining this, right?
Yeah,
That's
COGAT.
determining what is banned and
Yeah,
not. Okay.
this is all COGAT, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can. Okay, I was just thinking in my head. Maybe I don't know if there's any resolutions tied directly to that, but maybe if there's any, I don't think there's any accountability that's been given to COGAT either. That why they're doing this. Like maybe we can get one of the representatives that have been pretty receptive, like Van Hollen or Jayapal or Ramirez or something or Khanna, have them all banned and write a letter directly to COGAT instead, to offer an explanation to some of these ridiculous measures.
The issue we've been running into is whoever's been signing on to certain bills is getting blacklisted by the Israeli government. So that's eliminating any channels for conversation. So like if you sign on to Block the Bombs or you sign on to like a JRD, the Israeli government is kind of, not choosing to answer emails or calls or whatever channels were open in the past. So
we should push on the Republicans.
Yeah, we had tried in past Hill days to say, like, if you have any connection at all with the embassy, right? The Israeli embassy, call your friends at the embassy and tell them this is really screwed up and here's why and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
our Congress people who will do things, like once they sign block the bombs, they have no access to backdoor dealings through the embassy then, right? They get
Okay.
blacklisted.
You got to get their friends to do it.
And even then, like trying to write letters to Kogat or whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think that's where the power is, because
Kogat
then
won't
you're
listen.
legitimizing it by trying to appeal to them.
Right to your president.
Right.
So
We
Mary Beth,
found
we
our
were in
own
a few
backyard.
meetings. We were in a few meetings together 2 months ago where we pushed the idea of call up your friends at the embassy and say, "Hey, this is a bad look." You know, not kind of like, not kind of, kind of like a friendly, kind of like a friendly endeavor. Like, this is making you look bad on the world stage. Like, you need to look this in, because, especially these offices, they have these, they want to maintain this allyship with Israel. So we pushed it as pick up the phone and say, hey, like this is really a bad look. And we
These are
really
your
got to let
friends.
this in.
Let your friends know.
Let your
Yeah.
friends.
And again, we have to remember that COGAT is not a country. COGAT is just a small executive institution that executes the orders from the government. So the one that's doing this is not COGAT, it's Israel itself. So the pressure should be on Israel. And we don't even actually need to call the COGAT or Israel. We need to tell our representatives that according to Lehi law, our own US law, you cannot give weapons to a country that violates international law, and not allowing aid, not allowing medications. This is a gross violation of international law. So all the pressure, all the communication should be more on our country. This is actually an Israeli game to keep you busy. Then you go to Kogat, then you go to another smaller group in Kogat. Then you go, oh, maybe then they will give you details. They have an list item of maybe 10,000 things, and they will keep you confused. Oh, I'll give you this. Then you start, the negotiation process, and they keep everyone distracted and confused. All these things. No, we don't need to play their game. It is our government, it's our constitution, our U.S. law that, according to Lehi law and all the other laws, apply our law that we cannot give aid, we cannot send bombs to a country that is violating, international law, medications, food, and all these things. So this way we keep our people accountable, and there's something for them to do instead of the excuse of I don't have access to Kogat, I don't have access, Israel doesn't listen to me. We're not asking Israel to listen to you. We're asking you to implement our own laws here in the United States.
Yeah, as doctors, as Doctors Against Genocide, you are asking for the blockade against medicine and medical equipment to be lifted with the help of the U.S. government. That will be your aim, right? So you got to think of it in a very simple way. So even the most simple kind of journalist will understand.
Well, and we do even get trained in the military particularly when you're in a leadership decision and you're going to have to make calls on ground. You get trained in the rules of Geneva Convention, the law, land.
That's right. Yeah.
We know that we're violating our own laws by continuing to send bombs to Israel, which provides the propaganda and material support to continue to harm these people. And by blocking the humanitarian aid, we're giving permission for them to continue to block the humanitarian aid by sending them the bombs. Like, it all comes back to us as the people demanding that our elected officials are held accountable. We, Van Hollen and one of the other guys, they sent a letter to the Government Accountability Office, please investigate that the U.S. is violating our own Lehi laws by sending arms to Israel. And the Government Accountability Office even refuses to be held accountable. And we're now 15 months, 18 months after they put in that request that the GAO still hasn't investigated it. But when you send to investigate about funding to Ukraine, no kidding, that report was done within 3 months.
Right.
I mean, every barrier and obstacle when it comes to Palestine's in the way. This is it's unimaginable.
Yeah. It is really double standard.
If you remember what Anthony used to say, because Anthony, I mean, he served in the army for 25 years, and he said that exactly what they study when they go to West Point, how they can carry a war without violating the international law, because they don't want the U.S. or the military personnel to violate international law and be liable themselves for this. And he himself was there, and he said everything that he saw there, the GHF and the whole way Israel is conducting this genocide, and how the Americans are helping this, is a violation of international law and putting the United States personnel, people, and politicians at risk, and making them complicit in these crimes. So we have to keep reminding them that we need to uphold our own law, constitution, the international law. These are our obligations, and from the humanitarian point of view, as doctors, these are basic demands. Should not even be, there is
Yeah.
no controversy about them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not and the other thing is this, since you mentioned Anthony, can you just let Anthony know that this is a situation and you want to work on it? Because now he's campaigning, isn't it, for the midterm? So that will be
Yeah,
helpful
yeah.
in the
He's been
race.
busy with his campaign, yeah.
Lifting of blockade against medical medicine and emergency medical equipment. Just that. If you want to take on fuel and water and so on, that's fine. But I think at least for medicine, we it's our responsibility. Yeah.
I mean, fuel and water are medical, really,
Yeah, I
because you
know
need
it
them
is. Yeah.
to run the
But
hospitals. Just like the
yeah,
housing is medical. Like
I
housing
know
is
that.
the first
I know.
thing for health, right? Public
Yeah,
health.
but this is emergency medical care, you see.
But Dr. Sweet, like something that we recently, we brought up the Leahy Law and some of the meetings I was in, and I know DAG takes pride in being, an educational advocacy organization, but sometimes it's infuriating that you have to sit with a staffer who presumably majored in like foreign affairs or political science, not understand what a Leahy Law is. Two of the offices we met with did not know that law existed. So I say this to say there's so much to educate them on, and it can feel so overwhelming, to say the least.
No, Dania, I look at it this way, okay? In the end, we want to do this, okay? But the building blocks of doing this is educating every single civil servant, right? And if you actually changed one civil servant, you have made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm coming to terms with that. I'm coming to terms with
So
that.
that's you see, one of my very, very dear person, and she's a plastic surgeon. She went to Gaza and she came back and said, I don't want to talk to Daily Telegraph. There's a very right-wing newspaper. There's the one that did a smear campaign on me as well. I said, no. He said that, well, they will insist I use terms like the Hamas control MOH. I said, never mind what they say. If you talk to the journalist nicely, you change one journalist.
Yeah.
And that is an opportunity you're going to miss. 2 hours, you change one journalist. Just do it, okay? Yeah,
Phil?
and you'll be surprised, a few years later, they all come back to help you. You know it, you just told me just now, that the people whom you spoke to now actually is voting yes, you see? So that's the fruits of your campaign, you see? You don't see big results together, but you see small results, and together they become very important.
And
That's
even the
how
ones
I
who
think.
are educated, we know they keep them busy in those halls with so many things as a distraction, as a tactic, distract them from this. So even the ones who are educated, just being there and refocusing, recentering this issue does have a value. And as Dr. Sui mentioned, just open their eye to one thing, then leave them. Then next time they themselves will start paying more attention. They will start reading more. They will start, checking. Oh, I mentioned this. Oh,
Or
people who did
they're
actually
reusing.
convert on this issue. It started with one moment. Once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it, and everything start becoming, making more sense in front of you. So whether it's a staffer or whoever, this is really important. Phil, what do you have to say, Phil?
Well, I have a question based on something that Dania just said. So those of you who have been there from the beginning, you've been doing this for 30 months now. And I'm curious over that time, how much turnover you've seen in the legislative staff. What's the longest lasting relationship you have with a given staffer? Because in terms of education, you're going to have to keep teaching people, because I think there's probably a pretty big staff turnover over a long time. But I don't know. I've only been doing this a few months. You've been there for 30. What's the story?
Daniel, do you
So
have
Phil,
an answer for this?
you'd find this really funny. In a meeting with maybe I shouldn't say the office, but in a meeting we sat in on, somebody shared that statistic, and he took pride in surpassing the amount of years. So the average turnaround is 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
For a staffer to work in the U.S. Congress, and that's shortened significantly. He shared over time, and he's been there since the Obama administration. So he's been around.
But does that apply for foreign relations staffers? These are usually more experienced, and they stay with the same representatives.
He seems like he's kind of climbed the ladder. Like he's a national security advisor now, but it's
wow.
From what we gathered is he started out as a legislative aide.
Yeah, these change a lot.
Yeah,
But
no,
again,
there is a lot of turnover. I think it does.
Don't forget that these people can move or work with other offices. And even if they move out of Congress, they are going to work in an area that this kind of work, this kind of information, this government that is valuable. So we don't need just to educate like them in their current position. Wherever they move on, these are people that is their profession. So opening up their eyes, educating them, winning them over on our side, making them pay more attention to the truth is valuable, even if they move on. Plus, they can educate the rest of the staffers. I mean, we might meet one or two, but don't forget that every office they have 20 staffers. When they have a meeting, when they meet behind the doors, they talk to each other about who came in, what topics
What are
they
they
discussed,
after?
what's happening, what can we do with can we ignore it, can we do something about it. So just starting discussions by itself is I know it's honestly Phil, when we first started going there, we did not have any meeting because we went there, we're very angry and shouting. I mean, how come anyone in the world cannot see this?
They can't.
Me and Karama, we went there. We thought from day one, just tell them, just open the news and see what's happening. That they will just, block all the weapons immediately.
No, they don't.
Turns out, no. I mean, they know, and they don't care, or they agree, or stuff like that. So I know it's very frustrating, takes time, but
I
now
also
we're having more and more people meet with
I also
us,
want to
more
tell you
people open
something.
up.
Some of these people, they go on and on and on, and then when they retire, they say, right, Sui, I'm retired now. Is there anything I can do for Palestine? I said, wow. Because now they don't have this hanging around their neck, you see. So it's a very long thing.
And I just cannot help but think all the competing interests. There is money to be lost when there is no genocide.
We're up against,
and it's a lot of money, So we're competing against the dollar signs.
Yes, you are. But
the lobbyists for all these weapon. I mean, in the Congress, we're walking in the Congress, and there are at least 3 people who have bags that say Raytheon or Lockheed Martin or some other military thing. The military is thriving. These last 3-4 years, they're hiring, they're having more, their budget is bigger, there are more contracts.
And apparently they can't keep up because they're asking Ford and other motor companies to start making munition, and they just can't keep up.
And the Republicans are eating this up. Because a lot of these weapon manufacturers are in Republican states.
Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah.
I don't know who
Um,
told us that, Karam. Do you remember which one of us, one of the Congress people told him that genocide is good business? Actually, it was said to our
Yeah.
face. Genocide is good business for me. I'm making more jobs at my state because they have the manufacturer, the weapon manufacturer
I
company
don't
there.
recall. That's shocking. I don't
Yeah,
Oh,
think
yeah,
no,
they are
no. It
unashamed.
was said to us, genocide is a good business. One of the Congress people, they said genocide actually is gonna make me win again because my district they live off this. But there was also an argument about it that if for our politicians to make your people live off just weapons and genocide, that is the most despicable way of building an economy
Yeah.
because the amount of money to have to waste. Actually, there was an article about that last week. It's like you want to go watch a movie, you can watch it at home versus someone who is going to watch a movie. Like I'm gonna buy an airplane ticket, go on the airplane so I can watch a movie there. This is like it's like
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
you can
It's
watch a movie, you
wasteful.
can make jobs, you can make jobs
Yeah.
that are more friendly, that are more helpful for your economy in a more conscious way versus you buy a ticket to an airplane so you can sit in the airplane and watch the movie there. No, that is actually the worst way
Yeah.
of building economy. So actually, there's an article about this. We need to build this argument too. I'll share it once I find it. I read it last week.
Yeah.
okay.
These
So
are people who are
I just wanted to finish. I'm intrigued by this concept of just educating, as opposed to convincing or just simply educating. And so I've put in the chat an X-ray image of a pulverized humerus from a military round.
yeah.
And I would be I wonder what you think of the idea of starting to develop materials like this to bring to
Wow.
Congress people, because when you see this X-ray,
Yeah.
you can
Wow.
see, yeah,
Oh, that's external fixator.
yeah, that is not something that you're going to put in a cast and expect it to heal.
No, you can't.
Plus,
But
it's
you
not
got
going to heal because they don't have it aligned
Will
very
not
well. But
heal. It will not
aside from
heal.
that,
Yeah.
it is pulver, and this is characteristic of military rounds because they're very high velocity and they
yes.
pulverize bone. They don't just cause a simple fracture; they pulverize it. And so, if these people have no idea of what these weapons do, and you show them these pictures,
Yeah.
it's got to have an impact. I forget who
Yeah.
said something
This
like that a
picture
while
should be
ago.
shown because the
Yeah.
boy's leg will be like that, you see.
Where did you send the picture?
No, just have a printout to
In
show
the
the
chat.
Yeah.
In the chat.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, we could create a file with examples like this. So you want to explain to somebody what a bullet does, what a thermobaric bomb does, and that sort of thing, and give them and show them sometimes graphic, sometimes really gross examples. I think X-rays are best because they don't tend to gross people out, but they sure show the
Yeah, there's
damage.
blood all over the place and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't need to see
No,
that.
I got pictures of that from the Great March of Return. Lots of them.
So I
Yes,
just want
yes.
I just want to say thank you for Dr. Abdul Wahab because you gave us a lot to think about, and I think this is probably one of the best brainstorming sessions we had together as DAG to think about how to be effective
Yeah.
advocacy seekers
Yeah.
on the Hill. I think we kind of learning as we go, and we're learning more. We are different from other lobbying or advocacy group. It's just we have a completely different style. We focus on the medical angle. We focus on health. We focus on prevention of genocide. So we do have to have our unique and consistent style.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I think linking our medical expertise to advocacy and focusing an illustrative case like Dr. Suyang said, I think we should try to hone on this and make strong advocacy points that
Yeah.
we can use together. And educate others as well, because we want everyone to be effective.
Yeah.
So I'm really liking everything that we're talking about, because we usually do our leave-in behinds and our advocacy in the neck of time. Like, 5 days before, we're like, okay, what are the bills that we need to push for? And we all know the information, but I think having a specific case, having a specific example, having illustration with pictures, case study or case presentation, and just putting our minds together can be very effective. Like, we heard how we should argue against the economy of genocide and, argue for the economy of development and, improving the situation for our people in the US or in where we live and the rest of the world. We heard about how, to push against the dual use narrative.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
So I think, we should
think
take all these points to heart.
Yeah, and I think it's really like we started with the prescription, which really brought the medical angle and kind of framed the conversation, not just advocacy, but like this is what medical advocacy looks like. It's the genocide is a healthcare crisis. There's a definition for it, and there's a prescription against it. And now here is the evidence, and it's medical backed with like, different ways, right? Visual. Karama, you mentioned maybe bring an actual external fixator to a meeting, kind of to show, like, because once you see it and it's something tangible, it's really hard to forget what you see. So we just have to find every way to kind of bring it together.
By the
Monica
way, this
joined us
like
for-
having the subscription at the back of the leave behind is brilliant.
Yeah.
I personally filled it
Yeah.
in every meeting.
I wish I
And
had remembered. I felt like so busy with getting my team everywhere, and I completely forgot because it is such a good idea. You know what, though? Shout out to Mohammed Kuzais, because he brings what he and I call his emotional
bullet,
support,
yeah.
his shrapnel
Yeah.
that
His
he pulled
shrapnel,
from a
yeah.
child. And he will make
It's very good.
people hold it. And he'll be like, that's how many ounces, and imagine this. Yeah, it's
It's really good.
already doing
Yeah.
that. We need to bring.
Yeah. You know, in the meetings,
I was
tell
gonna
us
say
what
we
you
had to
write in the
chase a staff.
prescription, though.
We had to
yes,
chase a staffer down because she accidentally took it with her.
She took the
No,
shrapnel.
in
By
the
accident,
meetings, because I was a leader in a couple of meetings, and what I did is I put this sheet in front of me, and I was as if I was taking a medical history, talking as if I'm in the clinic. So this is the situation, and these are the problems. This is what you can do, and this is the prescription for you. And I personally loved it. It felt as if, as if
doing
I'm
medicine.
working, as if
Yeah.
I'm doing, as if I'm in my clinic, right?
Yeah, that's
Taking
good.
a
And I
history.
think it was a unique way, because it's like it's constantly like every time we show up, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, how do we be most impactful? How do we walk out of there? And I think we're all coming to terms with that, like, okay, our focus may not be on the rep, but the person we're meeting with, and how do we kind of leave that lasting impression? And I think like to have somebody sit across from them in a white coat and filling out this prescription as to, okay, now it's in your hands and this is what you can do.
Yeah.
Totally.
And then you go to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy got no medicine because the medicine was prevented and blockaded.
I think what we can do is we can also have an assessment and the prescription assessment, because where you are in terms of how anti-genocide you are.
Yeah.
For example, McGovern, one of the representatives in Massachusetts,
Uh-huh.
he pretty much signed every single bill
Really
that we
sympathetic,
asked
yeah.
for. And his staffer was so aware. She could be a DAG member, honestly.
Yeah. Grace,
Wow.
right?
Grace, yes, Grace is wonderful. And, I was like, excellent anti-genocide office. That's
Yeah.
But something, guys,
the things that I asked them to do is to look into the bills for Congo and for Cuba.
Yeah.
And something I'm learning too is like the people you're meeting with, they need the solidarity too. So that's another layer that DAG takes on.
Yes.
They need to have somebody that they're meeting with throughout the day, throughout the month, that's seeing what they're seeing. A lot of these, a lot of the people we're meeting with are seeing the TikTok videos, they're seeing the videos on Instagram.
Yeah,
So
they're going
they're seeing
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
So while the high volume of meetings come from the other side, they need to meet with people like us who are validating those same concerns. While they're not able to like make big movements on them, but sometimes they need the solidarity themselves.
Yeah. They need
100%.
their
100%.
they need to be validated,
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone needs to be validated.
and a bunch of doctors came and
bunch of doctors came and they told me I'm doing really great. They gave me clear bill of health.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yes, they said, "Oh, I'm a fantastic anti-genocide office."
Right? Should we have stickers like they have at the pediatrician's office, and we can rip stickers off when they have a good appointment?
What, a golden star?
Sure,
I would like to.
superhero ones or like anti-genocide pink stickers they can get.
What should we give the bad ones?
Yeah.
Oh, the remediation plan.
Randy Fine's office was closed every single time we tried to get in.
0 for attendance.
Yeah.
It's
I'd
like
like
he
to-
knew.
David,
Back
go
to
ahead.
the case, yeah. Back to the 25-year-old young man with Down syndrome. To make it even more personal, I think it would be good if we had his first name and maybe the first letter of his last name. So we're saying that he lived in a tent, in northern Gaza, Jabalia, and his name is whatever. And I just think it makes it just a little bit more personal and real. So I would recommend. Dr. Abdul Wahab is still on the call. Maybe he could give us that.
And if you have a picture of him, if you have a picture of him before he got shot, also just a regular picture of him to attach with the file and make it really personal.
Yeah.
Really good.
That's called
Good
personalization,
plan.
and that's called the humanization. We need to humanize
Humanizing,
people.
yes, absolutely.
We need to humanize people.
Yeah.
Because
They are
that's
not
part
numbers,
of the,
okay?
fighting the genocidal process.
I would even
Monica, are you new here? Monica?
Monica, I just invited Monica in because Monica organized the visual and participated in the press conference on the Hill.
Okay. Welcome.
We got to
Thank
spend
you.
time
Okay, go ahead.
together and yes, so welcome, Monica. Good to see you.
Yeah, really good to see you too. Thank
Hello.
you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So we just I don't know how much I know you had some other things going today, but I don't know how much you watched the webinar, but we were just brainstorming around the best advocacy tools for the US. And I know in Canada things are a little different, but we need to kind of think creatively on ways that we can penetrate this like ice wall of like zero communication, right, between our elected officials and their constituents. But yeah, if you want to share
Looking for
anything about the
ideas,
visual,
I have some ideas.
Mhm.
I have some ideas if you can hear me.
Yeah, of
we
course.
can hear
Go
you.
ahead.
Okay. So I wanted to make a couple notes because last time we were on the webinar, when we were talking about this action in Canada, it seemed like a lot of people didn't really think that Canada was much of a power or had much control or anything like that. So just a quick note about the vigil that we had, and then I'll go on to a couple other things. Basically, it was a collaboration between DAG with MISA, GLIA with Dorothea, Say No to Genocide, and Palestinian Youth Movement. We had a press conference in the morning where we all spoke at Parliament Hill. The recording is up. I think it was posted on the DAG Canada chat. I'm not sure if it got posted on the international one. That went really well. Unfortunately, we didn't have any questions, but it's out there, the information that we provided. And then we had a vigil honoring all of the political prisoner, the detained and captive healthcare workers, and all political prisoners, calling for immediate release of everybody. That was a very powerful evening as well, followed by a march. So it was a really good collaboration, and I hope we do more. I wanted to make a couple points about Canada. Canada sends billions of dollars worth of weapons to the US through a loophole, which allows Canada to send weapons that go to the US and then go to Israel without any oversight. I'm sure everyone's already read the report from Palestinian Youth Movement and Arms Embargo Now, which came out in July and then November. So in Canada,
we had Rachel actually speak on it. so
yeah,
that
I
was-
think I remember seeing that. Yeah. So, I mean, this is still happening. And in addition to targeting our governments, we also need to target the weapons company. There are a few companies in Canada, which Rachel may have touched on, that are sole suppliers of certain parts. Some of those companies are, for example, Gas Stop, which produces, it's like a sensor. It's the only company in the world that makes it, and it's in Canada. So we need to act against this company because it could be a chokehold to stop the production of the F-35s and stop them from killing people. There's also Honeywell in Canada where almost all of there's a particular sensor or particular, like, it's like the heart of the F-35, I think. It's produced in literally like 20 minutes from where I am right now in Mississauga. And it, a whole lot of them went just in the last year to the entity and to into the F-35s to kill people. So I think that in addition to our elected officials, we should also target these companies. They need to stop. Another thing is the charities. I think most people are aware. I don't want to tell people things that they already know, but literally, did you know that Israel receives the highest amount of charity dollars from Canada than any other country? So imagine Canadians donate money to charity. Israel receives 11% of it. Like, that is disgusting. And a lot of that money goes to the military. An example is the Hezek Foundation, which is the foundation that funds lone soldiers. Like, lone soldiers, it sounds like, oh, there's these lone soldiers. I mean, these are people who commit war crimes. They're basically mercenaries. They go from Canada, France, the US to the entity to commit genocide. And they are actually funded by Canadian charities. And the Hezek Foundation is headed by Heather Reisman, who is the CEO of Indigo. So there's a lot of actions against Indigo. In fact,
Indigo's like chapters in the US.
Exactly. So Indigo, there's Independent Bookstore Day coming up on April 25th. There's going to be a bunch of actions nationally in Canada in front of Indigo stores to encourage people to boycott Indigo. So, and then one other thing,
you know about CanSec, right?
yes, CanSec is coming up. And then finally, I will mention about Canada, there's also Operation Proteus. I don't know if people are aware of Operation Proteus, but it's like the Canadian military are literally in Palestine training the PA, like police officers. So we have like a direct role in the Zionist carceral system. That is also disgusting. So all that to say, there are many ways in which Canada is an active collaborator in this genocide. I will also mention one other company called Sunstar, which is located in beautiful Carp, Ontario, which is really close to Ottawa. It provides perimeter, I think they call it like perimeter control or something like that. They've produced more fencing than can be, what did they say? They produce so much fencing that it could encircle the globe multiple times. They produce fencing for, like, they do surveillance walls, fencing for prisons. Oh yeah, perimeter security is the term that they use. I mean, this is disgusting. So anyway, that is another target that we can use, like we can target them. So essentially, Canada is complicit in terms of charities, sole supplier of parts for F-35s, diplomatic support, and perimeter security. So there you go.
Wow.
I wasn't
Monica,
planning to give you guys a lecture, but
Well, I think we needed to hear this to understand the degree of Canadian complicity.
It's
because
terrible.
it always feels like, oh, Canada, they're benign. It's just
Yeah, and our
the
prime
big
minister,
sister, the USA is the
our prime minister, Mark Carney, I don't know if you probably heard this quote. He was calling for a Zionist Palestinian state. Like, how much more disgusting can you get? Seriously.
wow. I
That's
love
what he
it.
called for.
That's very creative.
It's yeah.
He's a banker. He can get very creative.
But we had a good experience in
Wow.
Ottawa.
You can tell him he can take them, please. He can take them all and call it a Canadian Zionist state. Anyone else wants to give them their own state, they can take them. They're for free. We'll give them a bonus.
Canada has a lot of land.
We'll give money. We'll give $100 billion to everyone who can take them and add them to their country. That's the biggest bounty in the world.
Enjoy. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Enjoy. Monica.
Monica is coming with us to DC, right, Monica? Like this is you promised you're gonna try.
Yes, I will come to DC. I don't know which date, but I plan to come to DC, and I really hope
14th.
Okay.
Can I ask Monica, are you a physician? Are you into Canadian
She's
women?
an ER doc. She's an ER doc.
I'm a general surgeon.
Oh, general
sorry,
surgeon.
I keep mixing you with ER. So yeah, but you've been to Gaza.
Yes.
So you're a general surgeon against genocide. So you're a doctor against genocide. So you're one of us.
Yes, I'm not a fake doctor. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
That's
not
me.
what I
I'm not a non-doctor.
I'm the fake doctor.
It is settled. You are a DAG.
But I was just going to also mention, like, I'm just so like watching the doctor, like DAG, going to the hills so often. Like, it's really inspiring seeing the number of white coats and seeing how well everyone's mobilized. I think we in Canada can definitely learn from that. We definitely need to do more. And I think that we need to get the numbers to get these to attack not just the government. When I say it, to attack not just the government, but the corporations and the charities that are funding the genocide. Because if we can stop the corporations and charities, the government will follow, I think, or at least I hope.
It's all about
Can
money.
you share these stats, please? One more. Do you have a one pager that has all these stats that you mentioned? These are really eye-opening.
Yeah.
And actually, believe it or not, Canada is one of the strictest countries in the world when it comes to nonprofit. Like if you're gonna give, a pound of rice to any refugee in Rohingya, they will count how many pieces of rice are there. But when it comes to Israel, I have actually we have a friend from Rohingya, and they send food. They try to send food, and they really count every grain of rice for them. Oh, how many did go to this camp? How many pieces of rice? How many pounds of rice went there? But when it comes to Israel, the pounds, 11% of all their nonprofit goes to Israel. And for everyone, actually, that's also for your knowledge. We keep saying that Israel gets $3.8 billion from the United States. This is just the military aid. Israel gets 20 billion plus every year from nonprofit, from tax charities, from, it's your tax money. Instead of paying taxes here, they give it to Israel to build settlements, to support the army.
Yeah.
So do not please keep just mentioning the 3.8 billion and forget the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
The
also have
nonprofit,
the
the
Israel
private
bonds,
sector
right?
are sending much more money than this.
Do you have Israel bonds in the US? Because we have Israel bonds in Canada where
treasure.
it's an
Yes,
investment
we have
vehicle.
those. Yes, and it's
There are a lot
losing
of-
investment, and still people invest in it. States, I mean.
Yeah, states, school boards, university funds. It's all over. They're integrated into the financial system. So we just have to unpack it one component at a time, I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a very good discussion. شو نضل؟
Ahmed. I mean, I wanted to ask him why he didn't show up to the hill.
I'm waiting for the superstar, Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra. We've been discussing for a whole hour to wait for our superstar. I don't know what's happening with him.
He was on Sadiq's team for Hill Day. Yeah. And when Sadiq had, the megaphone, and he's like, Mary Beth, can you help me? Do you know any of these people on my team? I can't find them. And I look at the team, there's Ahmad Al-Farra. I said, oh, honey, he lives in Gaza. He's not coming. And Yaping's in Canada. I don't think he's making it either this go
Yaping
around.
was planning to go, but plans changed.
Yeah. But I was gonna ask Monica, are you in CWP on Facebook?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I've seen you in there. I'm not Canadian, but when they were first starting the CWP like discussion group as a spin-off from another group, I was like, oh, I want to talk politics. And so I got thrown in at the beginning, and now I'm still hanging out with the Canadian physicians.
So you see all my lectures, all my paragraph lectures.
Well, what I was going to say is if it's the same Monica Chaudhry, she is hot on the case. Very well informed. and doesn't play around. Like solid advocate.
On the
You're so
cake.
kind.
I
If
like
only
that.
we could stop this ASAP. If only
Inshallah.
this could have been stopped 80 years ago, seriously.
right.
What would have been stopped 8 years ago?
The occupation and the genocide.
But Monica,
Not
you weren't
not 8
born
years.
80 years ago.
It should not have been born. The whole concept of
Yeah.
finding ways to get rid of Jews from Europe and finding a solution for the Jewish problem in Europe at the expense of other people. This whole concept was wrong. And even actually, when they first start coming, if they just did things the right way, because people actually there in the beginning, they were very receptive and were very happy, were cooperating with them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's build a country for everyone, and you're welcome, and you're coming with certain
Yeah.
knowledge, certain
We live
skills. We have
together.
certain knowledge, certain skills.
Yeah, like an
Let's build a
immigrant
country for
community.
everyone,
Yeah.
everyone included. You don't need to have this exclusive supremacist thing. That is the main. Actually, in the beginning, some of the French Zionist movement that they had this idea. Let's build a country for everyone, and everyone belongs here, and we can actually make it the best country in the Middle East because of the location, because of all the talent, all the skills that can be shared. But unfortunately, those were pushed on the side because the political Zionist mainstream was against this. They want just this exclusive supremacist apartheid type genocidal type of country. Yeah. So I think if we close the webinar before Dr. Ahmed Farra comes, he might boycott us or put our names on the list somewhere. So let's give him 5 more minutes. I send him a message.
Does
So
he have the link? Is he all set with the link?
the link has never been an issue for him. I don't think the link is the problem. He always finds a
Maybe he's
way.
busy.
I'm sure he got busy with something else. I hope it's nothing bad.
He's just
Because
tired
unfortunately,
after
we
a
never
very
know.
busy day on the hill.
Maybe he's on another webinar, Nidal.
No, not
Oh,
likely.
is he cheating on us with another
Monica,
group?
go ahead.
Oh,
Monica, raise your hand. Monica, just jump in whenever you want to say something.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to in my
Monica,
in
take
my
your time because we need to
we need to wait.
yeah, we need to wait for Dr. Ahmed Farra. So all the time is yours. Please
Okay, I
educate
just
us
wanted to
more.
mention that there was one other, well, Canada is complicit and actively contributing in many ways, but one other way is the fact that we do have in Canada, like since October 2023, there have been 1,500 Canadians who have served in the Israeli army.
Wow.
So they're all a bunch of war criminals, and I think we all need to do more to stop them from doing this and to hold them accountable. Like Health Workers Alliance for Palestine has written a statement on this. You can see it on our website and our Instagram. And we really have a responsibility to do more, both to stop the war criminals from serving in the IDF and to hold the ones accountable. And some of these people are colleagues, they're doctors, they're teachers, they're people who have no business doing this. So everyone should do more to stop it, whether it's through regulators, through police, everything should be done to stop it. So that's just another thing I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention.
Absolutely. We have so much work to do and we need everyone, absolutely everyone is critical to join the movement and work together to tackle all these different fronts,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Canada has done they've shown tiny signals that they're investigating some of them. And I think that's probably just performative to shut people down. And then nothing ever came out. Those are still doing they're still touring and they're still welcome on campuses and nothing concrete has been done.
Now I want to ask a question. Monica, you have a branch of ICJP in Canada, right?
Yeah.
So all these soldiers that served in Israel should be you should classify. I think contact your local ICJP, and because down here we are filing criminal kind of war crimes against our prime minister. our foreign minister and so on. So, but these soldiers should be included in that, isn't it?
Yeah, they should. To be totally honest, I don't know how much work has been done on that part, and I think it's happening at this time.
You
but
don't have to take a whole lot, just take a few, maybe just
Yeah.
a handful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just to make a point.
I don't know enough about it to comment, to be honest, but I know it's happening in the background. There are
Yeah,
things happening in the background.
Yeah, because it's gross violation, to go and participate in a genocide and come back to your country thinking that everything is okay. Yeah, it's bad. So how? Superstar is not here yet.
Dr. Madroni just texted me and he said that he and Ahmed Al-Farra are still on the flight back from DC because they were on the.
That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
They took a detour, huh?
Yeah.
They're watching a movie. I
I
don't
think
think
his WhatsApp just went on, so hopefully he will
They
come
went
soon.
to they went to Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, yeah.
Watch, what's
Oh,
his name?
that concert, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Let's take a look at the Q&A. Let's see.
Sure, yeah.
15,000 US SIOs are serving in the IOF. I'm not surprised. Been advocating for 2 years for the Chicago teachers' pension to divest from the bonds. Yeah.
So do you have this one pager or something? Those points,
Yeah,
Monica? Because I
we've
really
got such
learned a
good
lot
facts.
from you, please. If you have it, you can share it in the chat here or in the international group again.
Yeah, maybe I'll share it because what I want to do is I want to give you my references as well so you can cross-reference
nice.
everything. So
Sure.
let me just it won't be long. I'll do it today. I'll
Sure. Yeah,
I'll type some
Well, it's
stuff
not
up
urgent.
and I'll link a few sites just so you can review that.
Because I think once we see the guidelines, how you went through it, we can do the same research about here, the United States or Europe or
Exactly.
UK. I mean, going along the same mechanism or system to do this.
Mhm.
I don't know, Dr. Shitab is not here with us today, but she's a good investigator. I think once we give her these, okay, these are the points, she will get the data in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
Do you think someone invited Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra to Mansaf or Maglubi or something?
Probably. In the meantime, did everybody see the new Health Workers Watch, a new update on the Palestinian healthcare workers in detention?
No.
I could probably just share a few things
Yeah,
here.
that'd be nice.
Yeah, so that the audience can see. We also shared some information on the Instagram, but I will share it here as well.
I just wanted to mention as well, there's some new there's a new prisoner solidarity organization called Al Ahrar, which is new. I don't know if anyone's involved with them in the US, but there's a new group in Toronto. So you can go to their website. There's really good information about prisoner solidarity. So it's like Al Ahrar, I think, .org, if people want to look at it.
Yeah, it must be very new. I never heard of this name before. Al-Ahrar means the free people, the meaning of the word.
By the way, Monica knows Arabic. And you know, Nidal,
Yeah,
her teacher is from Khalil.
كمان.
Wow.
She's
I think
learning the
this
Khalili
you're the
accent
second
already.
time I heard that they have good educators in Khalil teaching Arabic. Last week I heard that someone was saying this. I forgot who, but yeah. Well, Monica, you're a great find. Thank you. Where have you been all along? How come we just met you now? It's
I've
been 2
just
years
been
of genocide.
watching you guys, listening to your listening to the webinars every Sunday when I'm on my drive to Toronto and back.
Thank you.
It's
I went
amazing.
away.
The amount you guys have mobilized, it's just, I love listening to this webinar, especially all the doctors in Gaza that are speaking. It's just it's so nice, and it's very like inspiring to hear everyone's voices and to hear what everyone's doing. So I thank you guys all for that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really great to know you and to hear
Yeah.
from you and learn from you. I'm really impressed. And I really thought of Canada as like as a benign guys. I mean, take it easy
Yeah.
in Canada. Those
This is
like the
yeah,
better
it's
ones.
really toxic now. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm sure Mesa gets it every time she's in the US, but just a little bit of time I spent, like even in New York, going around with you and Yuping, anytime people would hear you're from Canada, they would be like, oh, how nice, Canada, yay. Like,
Yeah, liberal, you know.
thinking like Canada's so much better. And I would see Yuping be like, this is how bad it is in the US that you think Canada actually is doing a better job when we're entirely complicit and supporting the genocide as well. And I was surprised how many Americans thought that when they would hear you guys were from Canada, would like thank you for being Canadian.
Like, yeah, that's right.
I mean, even when I got arrested, the cops, they were like, oh, but you're from Ontario. It's so nice there.
Oh God.
Why are you here?
One thing is I personally learned a lot from like local organizing groups, like local writing groups, grassroots organizations in like our neighborhoods. There's a lot of national campaigns against Scotiabank and Indigo and Azrieli Foundation, which funds a lot of hospitals, and they're very they're terrible. They're an Israeli foundation that just very complicit in illegal settlements and everything. So yeah, local organizing is really important. And I'd encourage anybody in Canada to make sure they're tapped into their local writing groups.
Yeah, absolutely. Nidal, what's the verdict?
Well, I'm not hearing from him, so but it was really a great discussion, internal discussion about our actions here. It's really great brainstorming. I think Daniel learned a lot today, as well as me. But it's I think we needed this discussion. Sometimes I know sometimes we keep our schedules busy with too many speakers and we forget about discussing things among ourselves. But because of the many actions we did last week, and whether here in Canada, the prisoners, the 1,000 white coat, I think this discussion was very timely and very necessary, and it will educate. We need the feedback. I think we all learned a lot today from each other, how to discuss these topics next time and how to push a little bit further, how to improve our advocacy and our work against ending these crimes. Dr. Ahmed is not responding. I hope everything is okay. There was another doctor who was supposed to come and did not respond to. I hope they are okay, but I'm not gonna push them even further. He did actually reach out to us yesterday and he said they want to share a case about the starvation, and he had also a friend, colleague who wants to join. But inshallah, everything is okay, and maybe we'll hear from them next week. So go ahead, you want to close it, Maisa?
Yeah, just before I close, I just shared the sign-up form for the Advocacy Day in May 14th. I hope as many of you can join us. Maybe we will get to 1,000 unintentionally, Nidal. We'll see.
Yeah, inshallah.
Yeah, and I
days.
also shared Dr. Suyang, you have to join us one of these days too.
I know.
I saw you, Dr. Sweet, checking your calendar.
Yes, I did. I was thinking of June or July because I got the book leave and all that, you see.
You
We would
can
love to
come with
have you.
Ahmed
I promise you.
next time.
Yeah, I
Ahmed is gonna
will.
be with you next time too.
Yeah, I will.
I also shared the Kamal Adwan link for those who are
now that the you have finished your action in April, so you have a bit of time to organize this Zoom with MAP, and we sorted out whether they are doing it or not doing it. Because I've just looked at,
okay, yeah.
You are $161 US, so you are short of $90 US.
that's just the first phase. I think that,
Yeah.
that the entire project is going to cost like over 650. Because
Yeah, but we're talking about a
first-
pediatric wing. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think if we can get MEP involved, then at least you have a more constant support, you see.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're following up with us actually all the time. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So sometime next week or the week following, when you've caught up with all these things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be in touch.
You see, the CEO is very, very keen, but our director of Gaza is raising all these doubts. I don't know why, and
that's
so
your
it's good
typical
to get-
NGO.
Yeah, I know, but you can't, not in a genocide. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can definitely talk about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Right.
Okay, any final comments from anyone before we close off? Thank you
Yes,
all.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mentioned one thing about that economy of war. You can read this article. It's in Counter Punch. It was published last year, and it says the title is "The Evil of a Permanent War Economy." This is how I respond to those people who said, "Okay, genocide or war is making money," and it really takes it, the details and gives you all the, the
How much money?
all the arguments you can make against this, the evil of a permanent war economy. And also to remind everyone, we really need your support. The people in Gaza still need help, as you listen today, both the hospitals, the medications, the supplies. The Kamal Udwan Hospital, actually, they are starting the work and they're putting for the supplies. They want to start the supplies, so they start to work there. And the field hospital at Al Shifa, remember the field hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have great news on that. We are lucky. We have to announce that World Health Organization did help us with that project, and they already started this project. And DAG is now responsible to finish it to the end, the final milestone, the final phase, and that is going to be done in the next week or two. So, I mean, the needs are huge, and unfortunately, everything's still blocked. That's why we're relying on you, on the people of good conscience, and our supporters, because the governments, the big NGOs, are not really helping. And as you heard, Fajr and what do they call it, Doctors Without Borders, all these organizations, I mean, one by one, they're going down or running out of funds or not helping. So we really need your support to continue to be able to help even the minimum that we can help with. We don't want to give up on them. We don't want to betray them. At least the
No.
projects that we promised, we don't want to disappoint them with. And we can only do this with your help and with your support. And really appreciate everyone who came. Really appreciate all your support. Appreciate the feedback, the discussion today. And inshallah, we'll see everyone next week.
Yeah.
Free Palestine, everyone.
Yalla.
Yeah.
Salam. Free
Okay,
Palestine.
salam.